We're here.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey,
We
what's
are
up,
here.
y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, are we live?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, I thought there was gonna be a music playing.
Well,
Fuck.
I've got music playing. It's on the stream.
Oh,
Yeah. The stream's been up for like at least 45
15
minutes.
minutes?
Come on.
yeah.
Keep up.
Sounds like us.
100%.
Yeah.
There was barbecue sauce on my titty.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. So how we all doing today? How's the week off? Is everybody okay? Living alive?
I'm alive.
No.
Not that
yeah.
you know.
We have
I'm
a lich.
alive.
So yeah. Hey, before we start, everybody on stream, if you want to tweet out the stream or share to your socials of some sort and tell people, hey, what's up? That would help the stream a lot, and we would love you for it. So, thank you for that. And
Or not. That's fine too.
yeah, I mean, or be hated by us for all of eternity, and just don't be a participant.
Just
whatever.
you want.
Yeah, what do you say?
You need a 3-second delay on that.
Yeah.
Wait. No, it bleeped it out. My bleeper machine works.
No, that's how you do it in live television. You actually, live television's 3 to 5 seconds behind, so you can bleep it out in advance.
Oh.
And then it's weird because the computer has like an algorithm where it will combine frames of like it records 3 minutes back, but it'll combine some of those frames if you bleep it out, because then you'll get your whatever bleep out back later on. So it's weird.
Weird.
Yeah. we had to do live television for my internship, and it was cable PBS channel. So
Oh, you
when we
actually
did
like
call-ins, we had to
ran
be
TV?
ready. Yeah, for like 5 years,
Nice.
Glenn.
For 5 years,
Come on,
you ran a
Glenn.
TV
Yeah.
station?
Not the same one, no, but different ones.
Cool.
3 years were for school and the school's program, and then I worked at MCTV for a little bit up in Midland.
Okay.
And now you're here. Playing
Yeah,
Dungeons and
delivering
Dragons.
pizzas. It's like Glenn, you said none of us have enough acting experience for that. I was like, Glenn, bitch, you've been on TV
I
for
have.
years. I have.
No, I have.
What are you gonna do about it? No, only one of us can be on TV, Glenn. And Mom said it's my turn.
No. No.
I rolled a
Freak
12.
Show Tom said we're nerds, and I agree. Super
Let's see.
nerds.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
left MCTV to start a business down here, and did not go well. I rolled a 2.
Oh, is this to find out who's doing recap?
Yeah,
Yes.
I am almost as safe as I can be.
I'm almost
think a
as
20
safe
is
as
the only
you.
safer.
I got a 3.
Okay. And Mystic, you're muted.
Yeah, you super muted, Mystic.
I don't know how that happened. Did anybody actually write the recap?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Okay, nice.
What'd you roll?
Was
love
it
you.
me?
I rolled a 19.
Oh, so you do the recap.
I guess so.
Was it me
I will
that
give
did
an
it?
inspiration to myself.
Yes.
Oh man, it's super bulleted.
Oh,
Yes,
well, you
Do a
know,
recap.
But it is, I think if I
Someti-
remember right, I did it as we went. So like it should be pretty sequential, but
Sometimes it do be that way.
you do.
Haha, doobie.
Doobie do.
so I'm just gonna pretend like it's from your little notebook, like you're
Oh.
just jotting stuff down
Yeah.
through random portions of the day. So all right, dude, season 2, episode 4, bruh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the Journal of Cascade, just jotting down my day, like we distilled a vial of the fog for possible future use. But I decided to go meditate a little while, think about the whole situation, kind of still really bummed about the death of my good friend. Anyway, headed to observe the transfer drop off, of Chuck's core by the thieves who are paid to steal it from Oberon's apartment.
I hate it.
We tried to be inconspicuous outside of the sloppy goblin, and I'm a poisonous snake.
I really hate it.
Amelia was there along with like 4 other people to make sure that whoever met him for the fake core is tracked after they leave the pub. The dwarf thief man almost got in a fight with one of the disc security dudes, and then the dwarf thief man met a guy and traded some sort of metallic thingy. I don't know. Followed the guy who picked up the core to a warehouse, busted in and confronted them. We beat they ass, and just when we won, we were ambushed by railroad tracks. I mean, mysterious enemies who threw us off of disc into the fog. Yes, I railroaded my players just a little bit. But
I feel like at some point you should have thrown in the word, the huge.
the use,
That time the game got
that-
railroaded.
yeah.
That could be a
So,
varying different version of things.
yeah. So yeah, last time some people were kind of like discussing in the warehouse, this fake core that they were trying to get from Chuck, and then as Cascade wrote, they busted in, they beat their ass, and then while they were sitting there, Amelia, the 4 other people that came with her, as well as everybody else, were just gang rushed by dozens of people in black. And after Chuck kind of thundered like 5, 6 times, however many times it was, and people flying all over the place, they got captured, and then they were interrogated by a human man in a black robe, who seemed to be a powerful spellcaster, though didn't really have anything to show for it with the rolls that you guys were getting on your saving throws. It was sick. After questioning the fellows, he seemed to have been satisfied, said, "All right, well, have a good time," and then threw them off the edge of the several hundred story tall disc. And we find our adventurers flying through the air in the mist, gray below them and all around them, as they twist through the air tied to these chairs. Before we do anything, I want all 3 of you to roll a destiny die. Choose a die, a D20, that you think your destiny can be kept in the hands of.
So what are we doing?
Roll a
Destiny
D20.
die.
Oh, you want me to get a physical die?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this pretty one. So
There you
white
go.
and pink. Yeah. Because I feel like you've never let me down till today. I hope. And then I'll put you in dice prison.
So like
Gold
low
die.
is bad, high is good, sort of thing.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Cool.
You are out of prison. You're fine for now. I hope.
Alright.
So
just roll it.
Yeah, just roll it.
I rolled a 10.
I rolled a 10.
Well, what happens when you add those together?
Did you roll 20?
Yes.
You rolled a natural 20? You're shitting me. Yes!
It flopped off my mouse mat and like sat on 14 for a second and then rolled back, and I was like, yeah!
Nice. All right.
Fate.
So, if any of you rolled a 1, that would have been a bad time. But because one of you rolled a natural 20, as you are flying through the air, you have about 30 seconds before anything happens. So you're just kind of like spinning there, like the air rushing past your face, and spinning and twisting. The feeling of falling eventually just goes away because it's been there for so long. And do any of you want to do anything in that 30 seconds?
I activate my emergency parachute.
I'm gonna turn it into a creature that has the most hit points possible. The hardiest
Okay.
creature that I can become.
Aren't you out of wild shapes for the day?
Well, we leveled up, so you get the effects of a long rest, right?
No. Not directly after a battle.
Okay, then yes, I can't.
Sorry, buddy.
I thunder wave.
You thunderwave again.
Can I use... Are our chairs close together?
You were tossed off kind of one at a time,
Okay.
but you can, you could see, it was Oberyn, Chuck, and then you, Cascade. So you could see Chuck's chair as you're tumbling, and spinning through the air, but you can't see Oberyn. And Chuck is probably 50 feet away from you.
Okay.
What are we
I know I
doing?
don't really have any support or anything, but I'd like to at least break out of my restraints, or at least attempt to.
Okay, go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check. Or a strength check, actually, whichever you prefer.
Give me one.
Okay.
Though
here's a
strength is going to be
question.
harder.
So the new feature that I got for leveling up requires me to finish a long rest to use. So even though I leveled up, do I not have that until I sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. I cannot do anything because I can't see anyone or do anything. Everyone's too far away, so there's nothing that I can do.
Gotcha.
Because I can't. Yeah.
19.
A 19 was that strength. You the rope that they were using wasn't too like crazy sturdy, so you're not able to like break out, but you're able to like loosen your hand, like stretch it apart and like fray it enough to get your hands out. So you're able to get off of the chair, and now you're kind of just free falling.
Well, this is a lot better than being. At least I get to see my own death.
There you go.
And I'm gonna sleight of hand for mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Virtual tabletop not found. Give me a second.
Oh, is this let me
No, there's a extension for
I don't have
D&D
Roll20
Beyond called
up,
Beyond
so I gotta
20.
read.
So you can connect it to
Right.
like you can roll on D&D Beyond, yeah, and it just shows up in whatever VTT.
There we go.
Could I do the thing like that
19
skydivers
sleight
do?
of hand.
A 19
nice.
sleight of hand? Yeah, you get out. You're able to kind of just like
So I watch him like bust his ropes and think, how barbaric, and then like just take mine off and like just kind of toss them towards him.
Cascade, would you like to try anything?
No. If I'm gonna die,
Okay.
I'm gonna die. So I just
All
kind
right.
of close my eyes and breathe and listen.
As you're falling, just moments passing by, it seems like it's taking an eternity to hit the ground. You pass by something in the air. Several shadows. Go ahead and roll perception checks.
Perception.
19.
15.
A 3. My eyes are looking for Amelia. Where's Amelia?
Amelia is not within your sight, but she was tossed just actually after you. So actually behind Cascade. But you two, Chuck and Cascade, you two see what looks like 5 figures that are flying through the sky that you just jet right past. Would you like to do anything in response to those?
Shoot him.
You shoot them? I mean, you can if you want to.
I go, hail, travelers.
Hail, traveler!
It's dangerous where you're going. Take the sword with you.
I noticed you have wings. May I use them?
Cascade.
I mean, they're just figures that flew by and kept going, right?
I mean, you flew by them. They're compared to them, or compared to you, they were like almost standing still, like sitting still in the air. But you could see that they were flapping. They were moving, obviously. But
on the hopes that maybe it's that Birdman I let go, I'll yell out in Orin, just be like, "Help!"
Help! Yeah, it's a help. So, thanks to your destiny die, they're rolling a natural 20 on your destiny die. Swooping down behind you guys are 5 creatures. They do not look. Yes, they do not look like the one that you met before.
Oh.
But they're actually, they look much cleaner and like almost elegant looking as they fly down towards you and kind of dive bomb in your direction. And the first one they catch up to is you, Cascade. And they kind of like look at you with um, almost inquisitive eyes as they're falling, as you're falling alongside them now, and their wings are just kind of tucked back behind them, their arms as well, and yeah. Would you like to interact with them in any way?
Help. Please.
uh, it kind of like lifts its wing out, goes behind, like stops short for a moment, and then swoops behind you, and then takes a dagger out of its pocket and slashes your ropes open. And then from behind you, Chuck, another one kind of grabs you in its legs, and the same another one does the same to you, Oberyn. And as you begin being grabbed by these creatures, and as you're falling, you could tell that they're straining to, like, slow your descent. Your heavy creatures that, and they're, maybe the size of a person. They have large wings, but they're not used to holding such cumbersome weight. You actually,
fat? That's what you're saying?
yeah, you're fat as fuck. The one holding Chuck actually takes off what looks like a backpack that was sitting on its back and just flings it out to fall freely into the air. And as they're doing this, there are like clacking of like their beaks, like a chittering, and you hear kind of bird noises, coming from each of them as they communicate and coordinate. And they actually begin pulling you in a direction that is different from what your trajectory was. Soon you actually see the fifth one, which is, or a fourth one, which is holding Amelia, and there is a fifth one that is holding one of the other companions as well. I need everybody to roll dexterity saving throws.
+0, no advantage or disadvantage. 1.
4.
A 1, a 4,
15.
a 15. As you are falling, you see, in the matter of almost like a blink of an eye, there are rooftops right below you. And at the edge, as they're trying to pull you, you're still falling very, very quickly, but not as quickly as you would imagine you would be after falling so long. But these rooftops are very, very tall, and you swing past them in this arc. And as you go past this arc, Cascade, you hit one of the rooftops, your legs slamming into the side of the roof, and you and your bird ally here both crash into the side of a building and fall probably 100 feet onto the ground. You die. Chuck,
What?
you also... Be patient. Trust the DM. Chuck, you also slam into a side of a building, and your like metal breastplate just crunches inward and breaks your core, and you die. And Oberyn, you narrowly miss the top of these rooftops, and there seems to be some sort of like shacks along a riverbank or some sort of, body of water, and you crash into the ground, into the water with your avian ally, and you are knocked unconscious. As you all, as the life leaves your body, Glenn, you feel separated, or Cascade, separated from your body, and you feel your existence kind of like materialize, hovering above you, in this, kind of out of body experience. You see as Chuck crashes into the building beside you, and your avian friend, who is trying to save you, is struggling and like uh, croaking out sounds to whoever might be nearby. Uh, at first, you see nothing but long alleyways, covered and shrouded in mist, and then in the edges of this almost what's it like sensor like vision, you see bright red eyes that are in the dozens and then tens of dozens surrounding the area. And as these eyes are coming closer, you fade to black. Everybody, except for Auburn, so Chuck and Cascade, you two feel this pulling sensation after the darkness kind of consumed you, and you felt that your consciousness and spirit was leaving this plane. You feel this kind of, man, I should really go that way, back to where you came, wherever that was. You feel yourself being pulled closer to the realm of the mortal once again. And you realize that you have some sort of choice. You have a choice to move on or come back. And that's your choice to make. As you're making this choice, what do you think about Cascade?
I mean, it kind of depends on what's calling me back. Like,
It feels like holy energy.
okay. If it passes the vibe check, then I would probably say yes. But if there's any inkling of something nefarious being like, yes, come back, I will use you as some sort of weird plant man to kill things. No.
It passes that vibe check, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And
want
you
to
actually-
be manipulated if I am brought back.
And so what are you thinking as you're making this decision?
Well, that was weird.
Why did you choose life instead of death?
I'm not done. I have more that I want to do for the other living people in the world.
And Chuck, it's not so much that you had a spirit, let's say, but it's that you definitely had these remnants of running ones and zeros that were feeling like it's almost like it was trying to reinterpret all the data that you have collected thus far in your life. And as that data becomes kind of disjointed and is about to go into this
The great recycle bin of life.
right, as it's about to form into this static and then dissipate forever, you feel it start to reform and stitch back together in a more whole state, and you also have a choice.
So now listen, I'm actually torn on this, okay?
Oh.
And here's Chuck's thought process on it. Like, obviously I want to keep playing Chuck, so that's already, a hard choice there. But death is something that Chuck has not yet experienced. And so it's like, fuck, I don't know what he would do there. Similar to what Glenn said, does this feel similar to when I would lose my power and have to recharge? Does it feel like I'm recharging again?
It kind of like it has a similar like taste, I suppose. Um, you feel like you're reconstituting, like it less than when you were recharging, and more from that initial impact of boom crash. You're broken, uh, lying in the sewers. That initial feeling where you survived that. Len is peeing.
Okay.
Everyone.
So I think, should I do a Destiny dice? Because, like, listen, obviously I would hate to lose Chuck, but
it's your choice.
Makes for good story.
As both a player and a character, it's right. Your choice. So I want you to know that
we're leaving this choice up to the dice.
If you want to.
So I'm gonna use that Destiny dice again. We're gonna do high-low.
All right.
And I wish I could move my camera because I would show you, but.
Sure. So high, you survive. Low, you...
Right. And we'll say it's at a 10, so 1 through 10, and then 11 through 20.
Okay.
All right. I rolled an 8.
Are you sure?
I mean... Yeah, I can't go back on that.
I mean, you can.
But... I mean, I can, but I can't.
Okay. Do you want to roll up a new character?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. I had one in mind.
Sure.
See, listen. All right, the reason why I'm okay with this is because I want to know how everybody else reacts. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, how often do you have a character die?
Not very often.
Right.
So soon, that too.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's different than a human. What do? Do you keep Chuck's parts?
You could.
Like,
listen,
I can get one.
Regardless of how it turns out, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of that guy with Chuck's arm.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, you have my pistol too.
No, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of that guy with Chuck's head and arm. Just bash his skull in with Chuck's skull in.
Oh, dude, make a fucking
this like one, but it's like with
Chuck's with his head, with his skull. Yeah, dude, just fucking bink, bink. I'd allow it. All right. So with that, you, Oberyn, have been awake for several hours. You woke up with broken just about everything in what seems like a almost military style hospital room that's several beds all next to each other. You see your avian allies next to you, and you also see several people overlooking as well. And from the lights which are coming out of their hands, and the your feeling of bones stitching together and torn muscle and ligaments, wrapping back around and attaching, you could tell that they are healers of some sort. They come in several different shapes and varieties. There's one that looks like an eagle. There's one that looks like a peregrine falcon. There's also one that is a little shorter and looks like an. And they speak in these, they speak like birds. They're tweeting back and forth to each other in various ways. They're clicking their tongues and kind of like even moving their heads in that kind of bird-like fashion to communicate. As you do so, you see to your left, Cascade is lying there, looking as dead as you could be. But then the one that worked on you moves over to Cascade and casts this spell, and you see in its hand it has a jewel of some sort, this clear, beautiful jewel, and the jewel is completely dissolved in this process. And you also see your friend Chuck, who light begins emanating from his core, but then as the jewel dissipates, in the same similar ritual, um, it begins fluttering a little bit more, and then it dies down, and there is no movement from him. You are more or less whole. You've just been healed. We'll say that you're at 20 hit points. Uh, you as well, Cascade. You now wake up and take this sudden jerking deep breath, and sit bolt upright to see all that I've just described. And Brandon, you go ahead and make another character, buddy. I want to.
I did have a question for that.
Sure.
So I'm all for good narrative, but I wanted to make sure it's okay with you if I made an Aarakocra,
Yes.
because they have fly speed, and I know that can be very daunting.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Looking around, is Amelia anywhere here?
Yes. Just down, like, kind of on the other side. Amelia is there as well. She seems to be unconscious, but after a moment of watching, her chest rises and falls, and she seems to be breathing. And one of the other companions as well is there.
Cass. Boy.
Wait, am I awake now?
Yeah, you're awake.
Okay. What?
Are you alive?
Yeah.
And then looking at the people around me, thanks for all the help, but does anybody, do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna cycle through Common and Dwarvish and Gnomish and Undercommon.
They're kind of like, you see like a recognition that you're attempting to speak different languages, and one also cycles through a couple different languages, but it doesn't seem to register for you. And they kind of go, and point to what you might assume is like their assistant, who is like attending and like sitting behind waiting for some sort of order, and they are sent out, and a short time later, maybe like a few minutes, another Aarakocra comes back, and this one is they all have more or less plain white shirts in here, and they're wearing like white gloves, which are now stained with blood and things like that, and they switch them out occasionally, and put them into like a solution to clean. But the one that comes in is wearing a vest that looks very, very well tailored, and on the vest is a cord that is very distinctly displayed next to several like stitched patches on the opposite side, and he actually she, I apologize, walks over to you and she says, "Do you speak the common tongue?"
Hi.
Yes.
Who are you?
I might ask you the same question. You're very lucky that my men here are a lot kinder than I am. They risk their lives to save you.
But I died.
And she looks over to the cleric next to her. and kind of like exchanges a couple of words, and she looks back and she says, "Yes, apparently you did, but you seem to have chosen to come back."
How can I repay
I'm gonna
you?
try and sit up.
Let's talk of payment another time. For now, I believe you and your friend should recover as best you can.
Where's
Where's
our metal
Chuck?
friend? Yeah, where's Chuck?
Uh, she once again exchanges a couple words with clerics and with the clerics and the um the peregrine that seems to be in charge of this little wing here. Uh,
Wing.
yeah, uh, grows sullen in their kind of composure, and so too does. By the way, she's like a brown kind of eagle. I don't know what. So
Golden
like a
eagles are
golden
different.
eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she also kind of like deflates a little bit, and she says, "It seems that your friend did not take to the uh, revivify. We were able to get you here quickly enough, but unfortunately, well, there he lay."
Um,
Where?
Auburn's gonna stand up
He's
and walk towards.
just in like, so it's two rows of beds. You two are in one side row, and then on the opposite side is Chuck, and he's laying just across from
Oh,
Auburn.
he's like an automaton. You just have to turn him back on, and then I go over and like open him up and try and like check the power core because I don't trust them.
And you see the power core. It was the cleric behind you says, several words, and the person behind you as well. She says, it seems that it was cracked and leaking fluid when they first began their work, but as you can see, it's repaired now. But he is not moving.
I take it out and put it back in.
There's like a spark, but nothing happens.
Oberon? What do we
Bye.
do, man?
I'm gonna find the motherfucker, beat the fuck out of him.
This was not an accident then.
No, we were thrown off a disc.
Disc. You mean
That's
Platform.
the sky city
structure.
above?
Yeah.
Aye.
Quite a bad person.
All right. Well, my name is Brianna. I am a major in the armed forces here. You are
Sorry,
under
what?
my
Armed
care and my
forces.
supervision.
Are you gonna eat us?
No, not unless you
This
prove
doesn't-
yourselves a mighty tasty snack. But
Listen, I'm sorry, Brianna. I'm Auburn, by the way, but this doesn't make sense. There's not supposed to be anything down here.
interesting.
That's what they tell us, anyways. But
I'm going to give you a few moments, maybe a day, if you'd like to rest, sleep. I'm sure you're still very tired. And we will, due to an abundance of caution, we will be questioning you, but not with any sort of malice. Please don't be afraid. Just
No, I understand.
sit tight in here.
Yeah.
And we'll get you some food. Does corn sound good, or Perhaps some sort of venison. You actually don't know what either of those things are. Oh wait, you do know what
Never.
corn is actually. You don't know what venison is.
Word of corn. What's venison? Is that some sort of plant? Or
No, it's young deer meat.
oh, oh, I'll have some of that. I think.
All
I
right,
just want some water.
certainly.
Thank you.
And in the intervening time, you could tell that once she leaves, you could hear outside there's some discussion in her language, and you know you might be able to guess, since this is a military installation, that there are guards at your door. But the clerics are nice. They bring you some water, some food. You have it's like roast corn with
Elotes.
yeah, it's alote, and it's and some venison as well, which you've never tasted before. Tastes nothing like pig, which is what you have had, and it's pretty good. And
So
you have several hours to yourself, and you may rest if you like.
yeah, I think at some point I maybe speak for myself or maybe for me and Glenn, but I think at some point I'd like to get my long rest in.
Sure.
Yep.
But
Also,
Cascade
probably
would
just
spend a chunk initially sitting beside Chuck and just spending his time between sketching and just like watching Chuck.
Are you sketching him?
Him and then also like the variations I've seen so far. Probably be doing like
Right.
head variations first before I go in and like make notes of like differences in feather.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a performance check.
18.
Nice. You're able to very accurately sketch Chuck, and also quite accurately sketch the lead cleric, the Peregrine Falcon, as well as their smaller, like shorter owl looking assistant, like kind of like a I don't know what kind of owl it would be, like a barn owl, just like a little squat one, and the owl is like I said, they're all wearing these kind of white outfits, but the owl in particular is wearing more, like a gi. You know what a gi is?
Yep.
Yeah, they're wearing a gi. So, yeah, you are able to take a long rest, and also Brandon, feel free to message me on Discord, stuff, questions, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to take a long rest, and the sky darkens, but not by a lot. I mean, you're in the fog, and it seems like during the time that you are there is the lights, which are magically lit alongside, they dim naturally and then light again to kind of help emulate the time accurately. And you wake up after a long rest, healed and kind of like rip-roaring and ready to go physically, but you're kind of just in this room. So, what would you like to do?
I would have also taken Chuck's score and put it in my bag of holding specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
At some point during my light activity, I wanted to take a piece of him that is okay with you, because you were closest to him. And I want to go barefoot with a seed and use Druidcraft to make it sprout a little flower. Because he's not like, he wasn't like this isn't his dead flesh, but it was part of his body.
Right.
So I want to give
And
him a semblance of a funeral or a burial.
yeah, like I said, you are kind of like in this room for right now. If you attempt to leave, they
Okay,
kind
then
of
I'll
like
just take
look
a
at
piece
you.
to do that later.
Yeah, yeah, you could do it later. But yeah, uh, he has cogs and nuts and bolts and things like that. Many small pieces. Um, roll an intelligence check, Auburn. Actually, I'm just going to give you advantage because it's your friend.
22.
While he has ceased functioning, uh, his stored memory and things like that can perhaps still be saved in some way.
Right.
But it would take some doing to
Right.
figure it out. And
Yeah, my intention is to not like leave his frame or body anywhere. It's just that we know that they've been after the core for whatever reason. And I feel like even it doesn't feel like it's not functioning, right? It's
Mhm.
just technically his soul didn't choose to come back, so to speak,
Right.
right? So just to keep the core out of whoever's hands, but the body will be in some capacity traveling with us eventually.
Okay.
Um,
And you could fit his
that's
whole
the
body into your bag of holding piece by piece if you wanted to. Um,
how much weight would that take? We'll
uh,
see if we need to do that, but I
I
just
think
wanted
he's
to
like
check.
150 or 200 pounds, something like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll say 200.
Okay. Yeah.
Just for the
I then I'll have space if we need to do that. Then we'll do that. But
sure.
um, yeah, I don't know. I'd spend that little bit of time we have checking on Amelia and the other person that was with her, her associate.
Mhm.
Um,
She is breathing, but she is unconscious, and she doesn't seem to stir when you like push her and all this kind of stuff. She's out.
and the other person.
Um, they are conscious, but they're an NPC with not much to say.
Sure. Okay.
Just kind of like, huh, dot dot dot.
Um,
That's the text box that pops up.
yeah. Then at some point, sit down by Cascade and be like, who'd have thunk? There's a whole city down here. People.
I've only seen like 3.
Well, I mean, if she's talking about a military camp, that means it's a whole lot more.
She could be lying.
Could be, but then they yield us.
Did they?
What's on your mind? I'm not saying you should be trusting them, sure, but you seem to be a little bit more skeptical than me at this point.
I don't like it.
All
Why are we
right.
being kept in here? If we were worth saving and healing, why are we being held like prisoners? I mean, not like prisoners, but like.
Well,
Get some fresh
when
air.
you have some sort of unknown threat kind of show up, and you're trying to decide what to do, just a little
Just
bit of
put me
time
in
to
a
let
prison
us.
cell and make it what it is then.
I think we'll be okay. You've only been here for a few days. You've already shown much more resolve than most people I've known. I feel like Chuck made a choice on whether you should come back or see what death's like. That's probably what happened. Bastard.
Or he was thrown off of disc by a maniac with no conscience.
Well,
Who's
that too.
truly a coward, and the world just sucks.
And then when he says that, I'm gonna get up, go over to Chuck's body, and then look for his pistol.
You find it.
Pull out the pistol, and then I'm gonna hand it to you. Well, I think it'd be fitting if, after all this, we came back and killed him with that.
Oh, I don't know how to use this. You use it.
I'll teach you. I'm sure we'd have a little bit of time before we get to him. Teach you how to shoot.
Okay.
Gotta learn how to use a pistol while you're on disc. You never know what might happen.
Once I know how to shoot it, I will not shoot it at anybody except him.
Sure.
But yeah, so if just to kind of speed that up, if whenever we get a moment, like during like short rest, a long rest, or whatever, I'll be teaching him how to like shoot a pistol.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But that's my character's one qualm. He will not shoot another living creature except for the man who killed.
That's fine.
What about
But yeah, that's
unliving creatures?
No, nothing that moves. I will shoot. Nothing that has ever had life in it, like rocks.
okay. So an undead caster that doesn't move.
Right.
How do they move? How do they cast their somatic components?
They're
They just do.
Yeah, they're just cool like that.
They just do.
They just do. Yeah. Boss mechanic.
After a while, once you guys have discussed a little bit more and the situation is sunk in, the clerics, were there with you more or less the whole time. You know, they'd come in and out. And, they actually they brought you a couple like little hand games, like like ball and cup kind of thing.
Sure.
To pass the time.
Primordial to them?
No. Well, they recognize obviously that you're trying to talk to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not.
They don't
It's not
understand.
the. Yeah. It's been
Too much of a rude language.
Right. It's like speaking Latin to somebody, basically.
Yeah.
If you said Dia or Deus or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh, they said God." Okay.
But the other 90% of it's like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You, after a while, another person comes in who has a different colored and shorter cord on their shoulder, and they motion to you two, and speak with the clerics, and as you're the only two awake, you're the only two that are brought. If you would like to come, they open the door and they begin leading you somewhere. Do you follow?
Yeah, is it all still inside, right?
It is, but you can see windows along the hallways. It's almost like what would that be? Like a skywalk, like between two buildings. There's like the skyway or whatever.
That kind of connects.
Yeah. And it's like covered. And it's maybe 100 feet long. You exit one portion, and you could see that there's a tower outside. But it's and you also see the faint outlines of other buildings as well. But it is difficult to see past the fog. You walk down the hallway, and they lead you up the stairs in this kind of like circular tower to the next level, where inside of a doorway there is a table and several chairs, and there is a person with a like beautiful, like vibrant plumage, almost like a parrot, but with a more like kind of sharp beak, and they stand there with a breastplate on their chest, and they have a great sword on their back, and Brianna sits there looking. And they say, "Well, nice to see you again. I hope you're all rested and feeling better."
Can't complain too much.
I understand how it is losing companions. I've lost a few recently my own self, but
Who?
one of my underlings, a lieutenant. She she was in charge of a small group of men in a somewhat secret mission. She didn't come back, and she kind of like has that long look away. Not to
Do they
mention
look like albatrosses?
No, they do not.
What did the ones look like that we first encountered?
They look more like vultures.
Hmm. I asked that then.
Hey, but
Did
you
she
said
look
they
like
were
a vulture?
like red or whatever.
Yeah, reddish in color. And she says, so we will begin formal questioning. If you would be so kind as to have a seat, my friend will, his name is Alec, he will cast a spell in the area, and you will be unable to lie. So
I couldn't
please,
if I wanted to.
well, that's good to hear. Please, please have a seat. And I'll do you drink wine or mead or ale?
I could. Ale sounds about fucking delicious right now, please.
We'll get you an ale. And she squawks, and they bring you one, and you're brought water, Cascade. Um, she she sits down on the other end of the table. Alec takes a seat, and he looks like very regal in his kind of demeanor. But once again, you don't speak the same language, so he's just kind of sitting there eyeing you, and from his hands, there glows a soft. Go ahead.
I can cast, speak, comprehend languages.
She says, "That's not necessary since we can speak." Back and forth. He is my underling, so he will not be asking questions. He's just going to provide the spell to ensure that we can speak truthfully to each other.
Oh.
Well,
This includes me as well. So if you'd like to ask questions about me, if I can divulge information, but this is more about you than me. No offense. And you notice this is the first time you've seen her armed as well. She has two short swords on her hip, and she sits in the chair opposite you, as I said, and the spell begins to be cast. It's a warm glow of kind of golden energy that kind of sweeps around the room in these beautiful golden arcs, and then lays onto the floor, and you see like almost like dragonfly like sparkles just in the area, or sorry, not dragonfly, like light bug, and you feel the magic take place. You may save against it if you would like to.
No.
Okay. And the Alex seems to look at you two, noticing that you allowed it to happen and didn't force it. He exchanges some words, and Brianna says, "Oh well, thank you. It seems that you are participating fully. Thank you." My first question is quite simple. What are your names?
Auburn's still full.
And Stillfall, and she takes like a piece of paper that was on the desk and begins writing notes. And you, sir?
Oh, I'm Cascade.
Cascade, do you have a formal house name or a family name? Oh, all right. And you said you.
Sorry, maybe I do. I just don't know it if I do have one.
That's fine. You said that you arrived from the city of Disk. How long
it's spelled
were you
weird.
living? I'm aware. They use this strange symbol. and she makes a Y in the air and a Q. But why were you departed from your city?
Because we were looking into the origin of the fog and where it came from and the effects it had on people and how to maybe get rid of it so that we could not be limited to the sky cities.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to sit on the ground and sleep in a tree under the stars.
You and me both. Is it illegal up there in some way to research these things? Was this a public execution? Were you...
No.
I don't think illegal is the right word, but it was
Frowned upon.
frowned upon. Well, it still just happened. Maybe what, day ago, 2 days ago now, 3 days. His mentor was blown up because he
blown
found some
up?
leading
Could you possibly elaborate upon that?
There was an
Put a
explosion,
bomb in his house.
and yeah,
That's unfortunate.
almost like the disintegration spell. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I am.
Yeah, he had some leading information on the fog, and I guess he'd gotten a little too loose-lipped. Seems
Got
like
its
any
connection
research
to
into the
the-
fog.
What's that one place called? all
The Astral
rainbowy.
Sea,
Yeah. You thought it was connected
the
to
Astral Plane, Astral
Like-
Sea.
The plane of existence, the Astral Sea.
Yeah.
That's what we.
All right.
That's what he thinks the fog came from.
Yeah, the properties of the fog and the clouds and some other naturally existing elements within the astral sea were seen to be similar in makeup and composition and reactivity.
Well, that's interesting. We have scientists as well down here. We don't spend a lot of time on the fog, honestly. We are busy with other projects, usually that of food. It requires a lot of time and energy to produce the amount for a thriving city, especially
Right, 'cause you don't
without
have access to sunlight.
Indeed. But there have been...
Plants so mean.
What makes them so mean?
Yeah, they're so scared in the fog.
Oh, as far as we've been able to determine, there's the more weak-willed a creature is, a sentient being, the more likely it is able to be overtaken by the fog's effects. But more intelligent creatures recover from those effects within a day or two. We see that you have not suffered any of the effects, sir, talking to Auburn. And you, I believe you were dead while on the way here, so the fog does not come inside buildings for the most part. We don't really know why. Maybe just some sort of...
So you can open the
Maybe
window
it's-
and feel the wind, but the fog does not come in?
Yes.
It's like a vampire. Need to bite in.
What's a vampire?
You don't want to
Stories.
know.
Oh, okay.
Listen. We up on disc, in general, the general populace has no idea. We think that it's just a desolate, fog-covered world down here, and if you spend too much time, you go crazy and you kill people.
Yeah.
This is honestly all quite shocking. And
Are
the
there not
last time
expeditions? We have adventurers from. It's the only reason why it's common. We have adventurers from up above, which come down here, but they seem to only come from one of the sky cities.
Which one?
they're
Cloak
typically
is its name.
oh, Cloak. That's
Yes.
Cloak's not under the it's a free city.
Yeah, not under the MGA.
It's it's a little bit less governed and under it's not they don't listen to any of the other sky cities. They're all under
Less
one
regulation.
government. Cloak's on its own.
That would explain their attitude when they come to our city here. And also, if you were wondering, it also explains why we go through this process here when non-avian folk are in the area. It is
Sure.
not uncommon for adventurers like yourselves to cause trouble in one way or another.
Sure.
Wait, DM.
Yes.
Have Aarakocra always existed, or is this like a completely new humanoid species for us?
I mean, you don't know that they've always existed,
Well, I
but
just
they've
didn't-
always been around.
Like, is like according to disc history, there is no recorded instance of a bird person.
That is correct.
We just
Alright,
know of
my
the
scientific mind
like
assumes
the
they were
alien
mutated by the fog.
Sure.
So how long did it take before you grew your wings, like on your arms?
Are you asking about our life cycle, or are you?
No, like
Is this a
your
different sort of
species
question?
in general, like, because I mean, I've never seen anything about bird people. So I didn't know if maybe the fog changed you or something.
Not as far as our history describes.
Wait, you have
It's
history?
always been around.
Can I read
Of
some
course. I suppose once we're done with our
of them? Oh, right.
questions here.
Proper procedure.
Yes, to us up in the sky cities, we think it's just a barren wasteland down here. There's nothing here. Anybody that ventures out from any of the other cities, save Cloak, go crazy. Expeditions are few and far between. We found records of people taking expeditions, and upon their return, they've been killed.
Only one person ever comes back and they alive, and they always die not long after they return.
About a week or so. We encountered our first expedition into the fog, which was only maybe about a week ago now. Which actually I think lines up. But we encountered some of your kind, but red and
vultures.
You did.
a little bit more feral.
The Aarakocra, the avian societies here, we don't often fly that high. For many
There's
reasons.
some vulture people.
Yeah.
Vultures.
Yeah, red feathers.
Naked from the neck up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, actually, I can, and then I'm gonna pull out my spell book if I have it, if they let me carry it, and then I'm gonna show them the sketch.
She takes the sketch, and her eyes kind of like widen a little bit, and she shows it to Alec, and Alec kind of like sits bolt upright, and he chitters back and forth with her, in their avian language.
Is it bad that we killed a few of them? They attacked us.
No, it's not. Just realize that the rest of our society is not like these people.
Sure. I mean, you yield us.
How long ago did you come into contact with them?
We returned
between 5 and 7 days.
No, we were coming back from there when the building blew up, so it was only a couple days, like 3 days.
It's like 4 days ago, I
4
think now.
days.
'Cause
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Building
We
blew up.
returned.
You rested.
Yeah.
You then 2 days passed, and then whatever,
Rest
and then you
here, yeah,
rest
so about 4
here.
days,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we was down
Um,
there. We were harvesting the fog to do tests on it.
We actually figured out that you can't orally ingest it. It's only respiratory, and
Yeah, has to be
it
in the air
induces
molecules.
feelings of fear and self-defense.
Yeah, every time I chilled with the plants that were under the effect, they were like, it's kind of like a snake you stuck in a corner. They're, they don't want to fight, but they got to protect themselves. So if you get too close, they lash out.
I want you guys to roll insight checks.
Insight, that's wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
25.
A 9. Jesus Christ, dude.
4.
You, as you're describing this encounter and like some of the effects of the things like that, but mostly the encounter, Cascade, you see gears turning behind Brianna's plumage. She like she's like looking back and forth. It's almost like she's not attention after you spoke about encountering these creatures just a few days ago, high up. She almost like zoned out. Obviously, this is something very.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I talk about random things a lot, but you disappeared on us there. You okay?
Let me be plain. We have a problem here. Normally, I would not bring such a thing up to people like yourself, but being as how open you have been with us, it seems, and the fact that you fought these creatures, it seems to be
Seems interests align temporarily.
in some way. You spoke of repayment for your lives and for the care that we gave to your companions. I think
Absolutely.
perhaps we have found a reasonable one. These creatures were once formerly a part of our people. They are technically Aarakocra, but they have been twisted in some way. The vulture-like appearance that you see is not their natural appearance. At some point, they were taken while they were outside of the safety of Shroudmoor and twisted. This has been happening for about 3 years. Currently, we are at war with the Owlfolk across on the northern side of the city. It used to be that we lived harmoniously, but a very notable captain of our military ranks here, he started mutilating Owlfolk, and the Owlfolk are very... The way in which they handle these sorts of situations is isolationism and war, because the people that this captain mutilated were high nobility in their ranks. We've been, as I said before, fighting for about 3 years, but we've recently come to an agreement, a ceasefire, that if we can find the captain and bring him to justice, and show that we have done so, then hostilities can end.
What, in what capacity is justice?
For
Is it
them,
to
it
be
is
tried, or is it to be
everyone in
killed
this
outright?
city. Everyone in this city knows what he has done. He is very open about it, and
Sure.
the hardest part is that he leaves the safety of the protective sphere which protects the city. We do not leave outside the city if we can help it. for the most part. It is dangerous to travel long distances, sometimes even short distances in the fog. So we have not been able to, especially alongside this war, been able to spare people to fight and find, well, his name was Sir Cameron Brightfeather, but he is now known as simply Redbeak.
Now, my only other question is, not that I don't want to repay your care for us, but would it not be seen as lazy to use outsiders, bring him in, or to justice?
No, the Owl folk they have a different way of seeing things.
Sure.
They're an interesting culture, but they do not think that a personal touch is necessary in order to show good faith. They just need to know that
That it's
we
been
were
done.
involved, and it has been done. Exactly.
Just making
And
sure. That's it.
seeing as it is that you've already proven yourself against them, and being as it is that these all were once formerly our people, perhaps you all would be less... Oh, what would it be? Less hesitant in your duties.
That's
than-
biased.
Yes.
There's no history for us, so you point us in the direction of somebody who's done bad things, and then it's just easier for us than people who've had history with him.
As I said before, I lost a lieutenant recently. That lieutenant was lost to Redbeak and his... what is now becoming a faction, it seems like. They turn quickly, either by promises of some sort of something or by magic, we don't know, but they...
Well, putting him aside for a minute, I'd just like to know. So, from what I've understood so far, it seems like your city is mostly focused on food production and just surviving and getting through things, right?
For the
So
most
you've
part.
not had as much. Not had. It sounds like you also have a team dedicated to dealing with the fog, but that's not where the main resources have been going. Correct?
That's correct.
So we've come to believe that fey creatures are immune to the fog.
I have not seen evidence of this.
I'm able to, and then I'm gonna click because I put him away in my pocket dimension, and my snake is gonna appear.
Sure.
My familiar. We tested the fog on my familiar. I'm able to summon a fey, a fiend, and a celestial. The
Why
fiend
do
and
you
the
do that,
celestial
fiend?
reacted aggressively, but the fey reacted in no way at all.
Interesting.
And we believe that the elves, specific group of elves, in the Sky Cities, are involved in all of this. They're called. They're part of the House of Kadish.
Sorry, these names mean nothing to
Sure.
me.
All I mean to bring that up is, long term, if we are able to work together, that would be our goal here. We're researchers. I'm a wizard. Despite my appearances, I'm a wizard.
Indeed, I've never seen a wizard in a muscle shirt before.
It's
Don't make-
I can handle a little bit of a rough time. But yes,
Make your
I'm
plants grow.
beyond this.
Oh, we are you a druid?
Yeah.
Oh, we have druids, but I appreciate it very much. That is a kind offer.
So all that is to say, putting past once we dealt with Redbeak, if you allow us because it seems like lives are in jeopardy. He's the guy who's been going around murdering all these folk. We're gonna kill him.
Oh, sorry, I zoned
If you'd
out
allow
for a
us,
second.
we'd like to hang out here for a little bit, do some research, and see what you know, and figure out how to deal with the fog.
Why?
Sure.
You know, why not? Why not work with them? People on disc.
Look at what they did to us. And if they come to find out that there's a whole civilization down here,
It doesn't feel like it would be that hard to find. We just fell down here. Now, granted, it would have been nice to have parachutes coming down, but like, all we had to do was go down here, and then there's a city.
all I mean
This is
is,
being
Cascade,
perpetuated, man. They're keeping people
I
from
agree.
coming down here. I don't like it.
I agree, but they've been killing people who've either come down here and return, or they're killing people who know too much. So if we were to tell the people up there that there's a whole city, what's stopping them from coming down here and killing them?
Why would they want to kill them if they want to work with them?
Why would they want to kill you if all you wanted to do was discover the
He
truth?
could be like some funky gangster who like has a cult that serves like some weird thing or something. I don't know who that guy was.
I would prefer
There's too much.
if you kept
too
the
much
status
risk
quo
involved.
as best as you could,
So
while
don't tell anybody you're here, and we'll keep existing on disc without any knowledge.
not quite that,
I-
but there's tact involved in politics and negotiations between nations.
Oh, I just won't talk.
Timing.
Not a very tactful person, eh?
No.
And you could see her eyes smile as
I'm pretty wise, and I learned a lot, but my ability to keep sensitive information is depleted if I'm given free rein to speak.
all
not,
right.
And not speak ill of Professor Minnick, but I did warn him about blabbing too much.
Oh, so this is a problem with you and your master.
He was a good man.
'Cause we both
but-
died already in the last 4 days.
And that's something we need to use to our advantage, Cascade.
Oh, they think
They
I'm
think
dead.
we're dead. They think we're all dead. So we're gonna stay. I propose we stay down here for a little bit, help them out, learn as much as we can, and when we
Remember, my
return,
friend.
we return. We'd like to have whenever we're down here, a little moment for Chuck, companion.
Goodbye.
Of course.
But
There's a small cemetery that we have. Normally we burn the remains of our fallen, as there's only so much room. But your friend
He's not
is
organic, and I'm just gonna bury like
Yeah.
a little piece of metal. That's it. Nothing crazy.
sure.
Just little. Just like
I think that we can certainly put
inch?
aside a little plot.
a little, just like an
So-
inch.
Alec, and then she remembers that she's speaking, and she begins speaking with Alec, and the fairies kind of, the lights and things like that dim. You guys didn't tell like a single lie, or like even a two. That's hilarious.
like, if they kill us, they kill us. But like,
Right.
I'm not about to lie to people that try to keep us alive. And we're just following procedure.
She speaks a few words, and then you could see her think for a second. She asks some sort of question, and Alec seems to agree, nod,
You were
and
saying.
she says, "I have someone for you, someone who can perhaps give you a look around the city, as best they can." Maybe tell you of some of the dangers, some of the ins and outs of avian society. She also speaks common, so it'll be easy for you to get along with her.
Sorry. Before, no, not now. like Echo, stop. All right, let's not turn on automatically. It's my Alexa. Um, my companion, the lady, Amelia's her name.
Cool.
She's a little feisty.
Ah.
Just make sure she's bound when she comes to.
Just take everything she says, the severity, and dial it down by like 80%, and that's how she actually feels. A lot of, posturing. You seen Cass and stuff?
Brim and vinegar. Yes.
Mm.
All right.
And it's
really a
mostly when
sweetheart.
I'm around for the most part, but yeah, she hates me in particular.
You should talk to her about that. I think you might find out something about
I-
yourself.
Lady, I've tried.
She chuckles. Anyway, and then she motions to Alec, and he leaves and comes back with a beautiful red-plumed cardinal-esque bird,
Oh.
Aarakocra. Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet. Oh God.
Shorty.
This is Staff Sergeant. What was it?
Rhea.
Rhea. She is going to be your guide for the city. Rhea, feel free to speak in common and teach them what they need to know within reason, of course.
Yes, mother.
Is that spelled RHEA?
Yes.
Like Gee?
Or I'm just.
Hey, thanks for the
What's Gee?
sub, anime. Also, Striker and Freak Show saw me here. They've been commenting every once in a while. They're pretty great. They like
So-
our beards.
She
Pleasure to meet you, Rhea.
she says, Rhea, I
Yes?
am Major crap, what is her last name?
Oh, we're dealing with the major here.
Yeah. Crap.
I thought she was a staff
Major
sergeant.
crap. You're right.
Yeah.
That is you.
I'm Major Ebonnail when we are on duty.
Yes, Major. Let me change my name real quick, or add to my name.
Yeah.
What was it?
Ebon Nail. And she has black talons, and so do you.
Well, come. Let me show you around.
What type
I know-
of bird does Rhea look like?
Cardinal.
Cardinal.
Oh, like a female cardinal or
Cardinal,
male
I-
cardinal?
Well, she is a female, so.
Yes,
I don't know what a
but
cardinal is.
presenting as a male, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Bright red feathers, huh?
Oh, cool. Oh, this is like okay. I'm sorry. The comparison mainly that came to my head was like Sonic the Hedgehog, just for like the head, for whatever
Oh.
reason, with how like
Knuckles,
spiky
though?
he is.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause it's
Um,
red.
Oh yeah, because the color. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right.
I like your
Uh,
mohawk.
Thank you.
Whoa, your parents let you have a mohawk? They have mohawks too. Sorry. That's a good little meme. Whoa.
Yes, if you'd like to join me, I know everything about this place, and I can definitely tell you whatever questions you have.
I'm sure you can.
What's the name of this place?
Shroudmore.
Shroudmore,
How long has it been around?
many generations.
What's many?
At least my
Hundreds?
great grandfather,
What's your normal lifespan?
grandfather, my great grandfather.
What's your your average lifespan?
Aarakocra lives to like 25 or 30 or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
not long.
Yeah. So Brianna is like, she's like 20.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Somewhere between
I'm-
3,000 and 3,500 years, something like that. That's crazy. What? Wait.
I think your math is wrong.
You have an
Think your
average
math's a little
lifespan
off,
of
too.
25 to 35 years, and you've been here for over 100 generations?
No, not 100 generations, many generations.
What's
You
many?
you have been here for over 100 generations.
Oh, okay, we have been.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct. Very
That's
astute of
crazy.
you.
if you've been here that long, that means before the fog came in, there were avian colonies and avian cities
Oh, there were
mingled with.
cities, large cities.
How many people
If I
are
say
there
anything
now?
wrong, you can just correct me, Mystic. How many? I'm sorry?
How many people, like, throughout your settlements are there down here in the fog?
Like in one settlement or
Throughout them.
throughout the entire world
That you know of.
that I know of? I mean, at least 100 people.
Like hundreds of thousands. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I've never counted them all, but I know there's quite a few. I
Within-
mean,
Censuses?
Within this city itself, total like avian life is probably 300 to 400,000.
damn.
Yeah, it's big
In this town?
in this town. And then other life, particularly, she begins to tell you of the rat folk of the Warrens, which is what they call the under kind of belly of the city, like, you know, ground level.
Are they evil?
They're pretty fucking evil.
Okay.
They're you know, like, think of like Skaven from 40K, like those
Ah.
kinds.
Are they
They're-
Sorry, Are they were-rats? I just need something
No.
to relate to. No,
Twitch.
okay. They
they're,
just call
they're
them
rat
folk.
people. Yeah, they're
Twitch.
rat folk.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Twitch, exactly.
Meister
Yeah.
Are they-
esque but just assholes?
Are they? What size are they?
They're like 4 to 5 feet tall.
Damn. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's big rats.
Yes, we just got
Eh,
done through.
they vary in size, just like people, you know, like. But
And you could see
Any
here's
other
some of
types
their
of
claw
humans?
marks. They're very large. Any other types of humanoids you said?
Aye.
Every once in a while we get some visitors, usually from the sky.
Do they stay?
There was, like I said, you can stop me anytime. There was an elven man who was here a while back, many years ago, and he left.
Like they left or they like left?
He left of his own accord. I think he said he was going back to
disc.
to Disc.
Disc.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to
Sorry,
pronounce.
that is a hard word to say.
Disc.
They've got that weird
Disc.
letter that
You
looks
don't
like
have to use your lips.
you
The
know.
beak doesn't affect it.
Don't worry about the letter. It's just disc.
Disc.
Phonetics trump spelling.
I don't use that word anymore.
And here's our town square.
So, as you've been walking, you've been moving
Oh.
through.
Yeah, DM, please give me something to inspire my
Paint us a
scene-based
picture.
audio
Yes.
mind for you, so I can set
So-
the scene audioly. Audio.
I will.
Auditory.
I finally have enough honey to redeem Don't Say a Word. I am not beholding to raise it is.
I have
So-
to do it. You can choose a word, just type it in chat, and I won't say it, and I'll start a timer from when I start not saying it. But I have to be talking for the timer to roll. So.
As you walk through these kind of skyways, you begin to see that there is this interlaced network of wood and stone buildings that is that they are pretty close knit together, and it's almost like a lattice work of towers and things like that. There aren't a lot of open spaces, but yeah, there's kind of like a main central building that you go, which is basically like a large cafeteria or dining hall, and it is very, very big. It seems to be at once both a dining hall, a place to meet and hang out. There are some bards, kind of like tuning instruments in the corner and things like that. But it's not a tavern. It seems very obviously that it's owned by somebody. this is just a public meeting place. And the place is dark, or the buildings are kind of like, dark and eerie looking in the fog, but on the inside it's decorated with tapestries and beautiful murals and paintings, things like that, of battles and victories and flying things and creatures, things that you've never seen before, and don't even have a name for. But what we might say is, like, there's a dragon, there are wyvern and other flying creatures, deer, there are moose, there are different things, and some of it just depicts people, Eric Cochran people, and as well, and some of the owl folk pictures are graffitied on currently, but maybe a mustache or like whatever it might be, but they there are a lot less alpha murals than Eric Cochran, but yeah, it's like I said, it is almost like a spider web layered on spider web of these hallways, and leading to roosts and private homes and apartment, that are all mostly like apartment, that all inside this fog. And
So like a super self-contained megastructure, essentially.
Yes, but you can tell that these are separate buildings that were attached later at some.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it is rather large, and I guess you could think of like Long Island, but all of the skyscrapers are like attached to each other.
Do the Eric Cochrans fly while inside?
They some do, but you can see them flying through the fog and back and forth. And there are like places to go into an area.
And there's been one or two times where I've flown off and then like, oh right, and come back and walk.
Right.
It's just second nature to get where we need to go.
Exactly. And Ray, you notice completely that it's totally taking 10 times longer to get to the place that you wanted to get to. And where would you like to take them?
I would probably take them. Do we have any kind of library?
You do.
Like a big library?
Yeah, you do. There is like the it's one of several, but this is like one of the largest libraries. And let's roll a history check for you, Rhea.
All right. As we're walking, I'd be like, I'm sorry I eavesdropped your conversation, but I heard that you were learned men, and I figured you would appreciate our library here.
Oh, I love me a good library.
15.
Smell of a book.
A 15. Let's see here. I'm trying to. You call this place the Temple of Knowledge, which is the fancy word for it, but you don't really know too much about the history. Apparently, many thousands of years ago, it was created in order to worship some sort of god. But yeah, it is banded. But the original temple was quite large already, and now it's like probably like 15 stories tall, all with books. The original temple is sealed at the ground level, to the Warrens, because rat folk are like, they'll fuck you up. you kind of impress upon everybody that the rat folk, they live by their own code down there, but that's between them and nobody else. So don't go out, especially at night. Especially at night.
Especially at night. And
Understood.
we'll walk in, and is there like a desk attendant, a front desk for the library, or is it very
Yeah.
open?
Yeah. It's, well, I mean, there's an attendant, but you could walk in freely.
Right.
Also, by
Okay.
the way, you guys have been getting a lot of looks, and
I figured, yeah.
you know, and actually, several younger, like fledgling Aarakocra, like a teenage year, you know, free to move about
So a
by
2-year-old?
themselves. Yeah, free to move about
2-year-olds, am
by
I right?
themselves and able to fly around, but still young. A few of them have like followed you guys, just kind of like looking and, you know, talking amongst themselves. Oh, this, you know, you hear them, Maria. Oh, that one's blue. That one's just like Maxwell, you know, or whatever, you know, some blue jay looking birds. But yeah, you have well,
And I would tell them that, you know, yes, you are very uncommon here, but surprisingly so. And I turned to Cascade. You're actually much more fitting in color than our friend here.
see a lot of pink
Well,
skins.
Well, he gets a lot of looks in up on disc as well. Blue folk are not super common.
To be clear, they have not seen a Genasi. They do not see Genasi. I just want to make that very clear for Cascade. But yeah, as you go inside, some of the older portions of the library that you have to head to. Sorry. Some of the older parts of the library that you have to go to in order to find some of these histories that you were asking about, Cascade. You start noticing different elements that, you know, were definitely a part of a more religious temple at some point, and there are what's the way to say it? There's like oh my goodness, I can't think of the word. A daze, like you know, with pews and things like that.
Yeah.
That some people are,
Like
A
altar.
dais
yeah,
or a raised platform
yes,
with alcoves.
yes, with people sitting down and reading books and like talking amongst each other. And this is on like one of the, actually the lowest level, where you are able to find some books on histories. And in each of the alcove, which holds, you know, a bookshelf, there is kind of like chiseled into the stone, little sigils of eyes that are very intricate and ornate. They do not look sinister, I want to be clear. They it's just stone.
As if we haven't already tried that. And I'm gonna walk up to the attendant and say, "Hello, sir."
Hello. And
Um,
he's speaking avian.
Yes, yeah. I would have gone up, started clicking, and or chirping. Sorry, not clicking.
It's a mix of everything, like
Yeah.
tongue clicks and like snapping of the beak to make like, you know, punctuation and things like that, as well as like, yeah, it's a whole thing.
I'm gonna say to him, these gentlemen were hoping to read some more on the history of us,
Godborn. Yeah.
and I was wondering if you could give us access to some of the rarer portions for today. And I also wanted, I wasn't calling him SIR. I was giving him a name, CIR.
Okay.
I put up an Eric Cochran name generator.
Nice. He says, gladly. Let's see. What sort of information are they looking for?
And I'd relay that.
I think right now, because we've got that task your mother assigned to us, just a general history on Shroudmore or your people. Maybe one that would be for like adolescents, teenagers, something that's not super in depth, but not super basic either.
Sure. And he finds a kind of like medium-sized, almost like a novel-sized book, and he hands it to Rhea, and it is written in Avian, but you said you have comprehend languages?
Me?
I think Cascade does.
Yeah,
I
Cascade.
can cast it if I need to read something, but it's a spell.
Yeah, I mean, it would be able to work for the book, right? So, if you wanted to read it yourself.
Avian? Is it a language
Yeah.
that's just not listed for D&D Beyond?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's
I just didn't know.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna let her read it and tell me what it says. I have no reason to not trust her.
Okay. So the history is it would take time to find out more information. So depending on how much time you would like to dedicate into listening to her, and she would like to dedicate in dictating. How long are we taking?
I would actually probably I would hand it to them, you guys say, "Oh, I can't read that." And it says, "Well, I would not like to be here all day reading it to you. Sir, is there any way we could get this translated?"
Into the common tongue?
Yes.
That would take some time.
Yes, I thought so.
That's fine. Honestly, this doesn't have to be right now. It's
Right.
nice
Can we-
to know there's a library, and we can come back here after we're done.
Can we check this out?
Oh, of course.
All right.
And he
Maybe
takes your
perhaps
name and
Before
gives a
you
little
sleep.
stamp, But yeah, you are able to.
I think the only pressing thing that we'd like to do is the cemetery your mother talked about.
Yes.
And then beyond that, I guess we'll prep for a little bit, and then we'll head off to deal with the task we were given.
Very well. If you'd follow me, and I fly off. Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
on our way.
And I fly back, and so, all right, let's take the stairs.
So it takes you the better part of probably an hour to circumnavigate a relatively short distance, and you exit out of the area, and you find a fenced off, there's a stone. It's more like a wall than a fence. A stone wall that surrounds a decent-sized cemetery. It's not enormous, but it's not tiny either. It's probably the size of a football field. And you see placards and statues and things like that. You see a couple statues clearly human in nature. You also see statues of dwarves, but as you move further into the graveyard, there are several.
You cut out
It's
for
cut
just a
out,
second.
For me, it's cutting out every 2 or 3 seconds for 2 or 3 seconds.
That blows ass.
We heard that there's a graveyard with different
Statues,
races, and as we
yeah.
walk further in.
Right, and as you walk further in, there's more Eric Cochran, and then exclusively Eric Cochran
Are these more
in the
recent
area.
ones?
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, you find yourself a small plot that is open to the air. Cascade, roll a Constitution saving throw.
And I will have flown off to back to the entrance or away from them as
Man,
they
I am
deal
just
with their.
Go big or go home. That is a 5. That is the lowest possible roll I can get.
You start feeling funny. You start feeling worried and paranoid. And you look at Auburn and you start feeling violently paranoid.
I attack him.
Now hold on a minute here.
Whoa,
Wait,
Now,
whoa,
hold on a
hold on.
minute here.
wait.
I understand you're stressed out, but
No,
there's
I
no need
turn
for
into
that.
a bear and I attack him. This is not I think about it. I'm turning into a bear and I'm attacking you.
He does so.
Okay, no. Literally, just wait. Give me 1 second. I'm adjusting something on my character sheet.
Hold on a second then.
What's all this then? Let's
See.
what was I gonna do here?
Get fucking wrecked.
Um, where is
Wait.
it?
Also,
Auburn didn't make the save?
no,
He's not a Fey folk.
he's not. Recall what he did yesterday.
We've done a
Didn't die?
lot every single day. So he
I took a
di-
bump.
I died. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
He
No, I took a bump.
he bumped pure fog extract and went crazy. And now he's fine in the fog, apparently.
you OD'd and now you're cool. And I was just like,
Yeah,
At least for now,
basically.
it seems like it. All right. Okay. What was that attack?
Oh, I'm turning into a black bear, I think. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
What was the
Oh.
attack?
Do I have advantage on my attack rolls, Dungeon Master?
Yeah,
If it
because
were
it's
me,
a
I'd be
surprise
more
round. Yeah,
surprised.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
I
just
was like,
sitting
wait.
there about to bury your
Wait,
bury
from
your
what?
friends.
Oh yeah, it's a surprise. Yeah.
Bite,
Surprise us out.
For the bite, that's a 13 to hit.
That will not hit.
And then for the claw, that's a 7 to hit with a fucking advantage.
Jesus.
Um,
And it dawns on both of you. Rhea, you've seen this before in some creatures, and you've been educated about this effect. And you, Auburn, have experienced this effect. You're like, oh, right, we're going outside.
the
Yeah. So,
Whoa,
everybody
whoa,
roll
whoa.
initiative.
All right then. Should have calmed down a little bit.
Damn.
I have
21.
a -1, so this die has decided that after that 20 on the fate dice, I will not roll better than a 5. So I just got a 0 on my initiative. Sorry, no, a -1.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's 0. It is 0. I have a -1 and I rolled a 1. I have a
That's
0
awesome.
on my initiative.
See, that's the thing. It's a fate die. It's only supposed to be used for fate.
Oh, no, it's my die for this character, so it's gonna get
Oh,
rolled
okay,
all
well.
the time for it.
Hey,
My deck score.
the only reason why you guys did not
4.
slam and die all simultaneously and get taken by rat folk is because you rolled that natural 20. So, because
You're
you would be,
Um,
it would be a whole
rolled a
different
20.
experience right now. So a 20
yes.
and Rhea
21.
21. So Rhea, you are up first. You don't necessarily. I just want to make this. You don't necessarily beat the shit out of him.
You're cutting out again.
Oh, God, this fucking God, this mic. You don't necessarily need to beat the shit out of your friend here. There may be alternative ways to solve this combat. Just letting you know.
You know, I don't know. No.
Oh, it's time to see what Rhea is if Rhea decides to do anything.
I was just seeing if I could pick him up and fly him, but I don't think I can. I don't think I'm.
As a bear? No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that too. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, you want to see what Rhea can do? Too bad she's not gonna show you. What I'm going to do. Bears are still medium creatures, right?
Yes.
All
No? Is a black bear a
bear's
medium
medium.
creature or a large creature? Medium? Okay.
I am going to fly between, like, the fog and the entrance back into the city area. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Back to not outside.
Right.
And I'm going to use the gust cantrip. I'm going to flap my wings and create a gust to push him 5 feet. I need a strength saving throw of 15.
You're muted, sir.
11.
Nice.
So it's going to
Push
push him
5 feet.
5 feet towards the door and also have the secondary effect of stirring up the fog.
Recall that you are like almost 100 yards away from the door.
Well, I'm
Is he
getting
went to-
closer, aren't I?
Okay, yes you are. Yes you are. So yeah, you move them
And
at the
stir
very
up
least.
the fog as well.
Yeah. At the very least, you move them away from Oberon. And yeah, it is. Is that your turn?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's gonna be of no avail as I jump right in, and I'm gonna get my hands around Cascade's head, and I'm like, all right, bud, you just gotta breathe through it. All right, just nice and in, take it in and out,
Are you grappling me?
and I am grappling.
Do I get a chance to resist that?
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a grapple
I'm
check.
rolling athletics.
Ooh.
6.
I rolled a 21.
Nice.
And that's all I'm just there, and I'm just like, just around him, just like, in and out. I'm just like doing like a breathing exercise with him.
Okay. Cascade, it is your turn.
I'm gonna attack him
Okay.
with disadvantage twice.
Yes.
Disadvantage with the bite. 19.
Will hit.
That's 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
And disadvantage with the claw. Dirty 20.
Will hit.
Minimum 4 damage.
Nice.
That's
Is
my
there
turn.
is there anything else that you would like to do?
Oh, there's nothing else that I can do as a bear.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I can't cast spells or use like class-based abilities if I am a bear
Sure.
until like level 20. I think that's when you can, or level 18 is a druid. I think that's when you get your ability to use stuff in bear form or animal form. Anyway.
Sure. Rhea, it is your turn.
Why are you jumping back into him? Just, he needs to breathe it out. Stay away. And
That's what I'm doing.
and I'm going to use my action to try to pull them apart.
Okay. That'd be.
Do we both?
Do you want to stay entangled, Glenn? Are you? Yeah, you're trying to get away. Okay, so that is a. You are against, Auburn
Give-
in a
Can I give her
contested
the help
grapple check.
action?
Yes, you can.
Use my reaction or something.
So what am I rolling? I'm not very
A
strong.
contested grapple check against Oberon with advantage for you.
So athletics or acrobatics? Just
I do either, but you're doing athletics because you're the one initiating.
damn. But I get advantage. Thank God I did. 16.
I had a 6.
Nice. So you pull them apart, and the bear is unleashed. And it's not unreasonable to think that you're angry and you want to like you want to get these things away from you, but you could running away is also an option currently, Glenn. But
But it doesn't have to be.
it doesn't have to be. Auburn, it is your turn.
Given everything we know, he's acting currently in self-defense.
Right.
So, I'm going to cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. You're
And
invisible.
I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna book it towards like the entrance, back into like non-fog area.
Yeah, you can no longer see this creature. It is up to you whether you would like to take an attack of opportunity with disadvantage. It seems like you're confused a little bit, obviously, but there's no immediate threat next to you that is not this bird. So no attack of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's self-defense, so I wouldn't attack him if he
Yeah.
was moving away from me.
Okay. And it is your turn.
I'm gonna move as far away from them as I can, and like go into get behind something.
Okay.
Like, get to a place where I can defend my front and not have to worry about my back, so like be a wall or something like that. One of these alcoves.
Sure. There's a mausoleum that has a little entrance that you find quickly, and you kind of just run into the mausoleum, and inside there is just a small little area with a casket. Well, it's not a casket; it's more a sarcophagus, I guess. A stone casket, and you are not within visual range, but you guys saw where he went, and we could break initiative there since. But what are you guys gonna do while he's afraid inside of this?
Because I'm gonna stay like that. I can stay in bear form for 3 hours now, so
Right.
stay there as long as I feel that way. Once again, I've been drinking a lot of water. I can still hear your own music.
Right.
I'm gonna, as soon as I get back like to the front door, get back in, I'm gonna go visible again, and I'm like visibly bleeding because he did 10 damage to me.
Yeah.
It's relatively not a lot, but that took me down from 38 to 28. And so I'm just kind of like prestidigitating and like cleaning off
Getting
the
blood
blood,
off you,
and just, like,
yeah.
tending to my wounds. And this is just something, if he's entered like a structure,
Mhm.
the rationale now is then it's just only a matter of time until he just has to like stave it off and then just make his way back in, correct?
Yeah.
So I was just gonna wait there and just keep an eye out.
Okay. Rhea, what are you doing?
So let me ask this. How affected by the fog am I?
You're not at all.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So I am going to. He went into the building, or into the whatever it was, right?
Yeah, it's like a
he
little
is
mausoleum.
in.
Yeah, he's inside.
I am going to fly above it, out of his sight, and just keep flapping away the fog just to make sure that nothing's getting into it.
Yeah, it's not going inside.
Okay.
So,
Well, then I'll just wait on
yeah,
top of it then.
you Gucci. But good idea. After probably a couple hours, his bear form might still be there, but it seems that the fog, something happens, and you don't feel so angry or paranoid anymore, Mr. Cascade.
I'm probably just sleeping if you come into the room. Just a bear sleeping on its back.
Yeah, you're fine now
But
because
it's
you had a
nice and
pretty
dark in
short.
here and yeah, sleep.
I guess then if he's sleeping, I would notice, when the sleep becomes less fitful,
Hmm.
when he's calmed down, and I'll go there and I'll gently tap him, his fur, be like, "Sir, are you awake?"
And as I wake up, I turn back into myself
Nice.
and I just go, "That was a fun nap. What's going on?"
Yes. I forgot that you're affected by the fog like that.
Oh man. And then I run out to see if I can't find my buddy. I
Wait,
don't
wait,
wanna
sir,
show
no,
anybody.
and as we're moving, I'm just slowly flapping my wings now. I'm gonna try to keep as much of the fog at bay as he's running outside.
As he gets outside, it's it's there. It's you're trying to basically separate air, right? And it's all the air that you're trying to replace that with is just more fog air. So,
Trying to find Albrin.
yeah.
I'm not the
he-
wisest
I-
character.
Yeah. He's just waiting outside, correct, Auburn?
Yeah, I'm just at the thing, by the entrance, just going in and out, and just kind of standing there. Sorry, can I confirm that we took a short rest essentially
Yeah,
while I was
yeah.
waiting? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just a little patched up. You'd see like a little bandage. I probably would have asked somebody, or somebody would have gone to get something,
Sure.
some cloth or whatever. So got like a bite and a scratch on my arm that's patched up, and I'm
Sorry, bud.
pacing a little bit. All right, feeling
Want some heals?
feeling better. It's all good.
No.
No,
No.
I had died myself to full. I'm good.
But as you're out in the fog again, you notice that there was like a heaviness before that seemed to be kind of like, it's like breathing on a very, very humid day, that no longer is there, now that you've woken up and you have gone through this process.
I'm gonna come
Feels
up and
better out
kind of
here
like
now.
slap you, like tap you on the cheek a little bit and move past you. All right, let's find that spot. Get this over with. Don't feel too bad. I freaked out a little bit yesterday, didn't I? Oh, the day before, whenever it was.
I mean, you were freaking out when we carried you down. At least until you hit,
Oh no, I mean we condensed some of the fog, turned into a little powder, and then I inhaled the whole thing, so it was very concentrated.
Why?
Experimentation. Listen, you need to understand, the fog is an entirely unknown entity to us. Like I was telling your mother, we had no idea there was even cities down here. We didn't know that we'd be encountering you all, and like life and children and like it's culture
Fledglings.
shock a little bit. Fledgling, sorry.
But why?
Well,
Like, I understand. Don't get me wrong. Pursuit of science and all that.
progress demands sacrifice. I had him and a friend Chuck stand by. Figured what was it was that would happen. I disarmed myself too, so it worked out.
So you find the plot
Right.
again.
Yes, we best not dally. It will be getting dark soon.
Bink.
Considering it took us 3 hours to get here.
There.
And
Sorry, I
another
don't have
3 hours.
wings.
You could, obviously.
I could.
Yes. You can turn into a bear. Our druids
can't
can
turn
turn into all
anything that
kinds
can
of
fly.
creatures. Maybe you just haven't tried.
Oh. Nope.
I don't actually know when druids can,
I
if they
can't.
can.
They can eventually, but I can't yet.
Yeah.
Does the plot? I mean, it's a small plot of land, but was there like a headstone, or is there like a broken off chunk of a headstone that I could find close by, or something,
Sure. Yeah.
or something to like mark the Because then I'm going to
Do we
find
wanna
one and
put
with
his
my
whole
quill.
body here and just keep it here so that nobody finds it. There's no way they'll think we
No.
buried the body here because he wasn't alive.
No, I'm gonna turn his arm into a weapon. Gotta beat the shit out of that man.
Oh, I mean everything else. Just leave it here for safekeeping.
I don't want to do anything that might jeopardize these fine folk. Because in the
Yes,
off chance that
please
either of us
take-
get captured, they could do things and information
Okay.
and yes. But
I'm
gonna find
worried
like a little
that
piece. Go
If
on.
if it gets in the wrong hands, what it could mean for us. We are currently at war. Kind of.
What?
I mean, you've seen the owls.
No.
Only the cleric, actually. It's the only owl that was in the entire place that they've seen this far.
Just some
Um,
disagreements amongst our kind.
Disagreement sounds like Redbeard did a whole lot more than disagree with some of the owls.
Yes.
And I mean, I would imagine Redbeak is like Jeffrey Dahmer kind of like level of like
Okay.
people
No,
are
right.
like fuck that guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very scary
Yes.
individual. Like
If any of his followers got any of that technology, it would be very bad, is all I could say. They're not stupid, they just have lost their way.
Right. Well, I did need to talk to your mother before we left for this mission, so... And then I'm gonna write with my quill on this little broken off slab that I found and place it there. I'm gonna write, "Here lies Chuck." And that's it. And Chuck in all
Seems
capitals.
rather sacrilegious. Use another man's headstone.
No. But it's a piece.
He'd see it as practical.
I'm sure your friend would have appreciated it.
I want to push that little piece of metal that, had come off of him into the ground. It wasn't like a pointedly important piece of metal for what it's worth. No seals or springs or cogs or bolts. It was like a piece of the shredded metal because it had fallen off of a mountain,
Right.
a little piece of the edging, just a little bit. I put it in there and then I pull like a little seed that I have from up there, just like a flower seed. Put it in
Yeah.
the earth above it and then cast Druidcraft to have that little flower grow in front of the small headstone.
What kind of flower?
It is a sunflower, but it has indigo petals.
Ooh, cool.
and it immediately attacks us.
But it's smaller,
Hmm.
like a scaled down sunflower. It's not like, 'cause
Yeah.
sunflowers are like 7 feet tall, you know? Like, no.
Yeah, it's like a little guy.
Yeah, little blue sunflower.
Nice. It does not seem to have a problem since it was magically created. But yeah, you do so, and it is a fitting little tribute to Chuck's existence.
Do you have all
Air-
of him?
Yeah, I mean, we've left him up there, but we do have all of them.
Or
I was
you're
thinking
gonna-
I would take his arm. Well, I was gonna take his arm and either have that fashioned to one of these, and I'd probably imagine we're maybe walking back at this point. But like, and I'm gonna pull out my like knuckle dusters, my brass knuckles, maybe have them forever on my punch people with. I think you'd get a kick out of that.
You
Or
could also just get his finger joints and just have them be made into like a gauntlet.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Could do that. Find a skilled enough
One hand is a
artificer
fist, the
or
other
smith.
hand is a fist.
Or melt down one of his legs into a dagger of sorts. I feel like that'd be fitting too, but
What happened to his memories if he wasn't like alive in a traditional sense?
I think they're still intact. But extracting them would be a process.
Do you think your people could do it?
I want to see if I could do it first. I don't want to trust my people with anything at this point.
Oh.
The longer we could delay our return to Disk and work without any interruptions or supervision, better.
I don't want to
think.
stay down here.
Well, I'm not saying we stay down here permanently. I think
No, I
we
want to
just need
leave
some
like
space
as
to
soon
be...
as possible. I don't want to kill people as a bear. I didn't like feeling scared like that.
What? Well, that's why we can stay inside, and we don't have to
All the
like
time?
that. Not all the time,
were fine.
Cascade. Just for
You just need
all
to
I
be
mean is
prepared.
all I mean is for a couple of weeks or something, so that we could just do some research. That's it. The more prepared we are with information before we return, the easier our lives will be, because we're supposed to be dead. And if they find out we've come back, they're gonna kill us again.
These people don't want to know each other. They both know. Now what we know
No, I'm not
is that people
putting
on the top
aside-
know about these people, and people down here know about us. They don't want
It's
these
not even-
worlds to collide.
I'm not even talking about that, Cascade.
Oh.
I'm talking about if we were to return and they find out, they will kill us again.
They'll kill
They
us
did
if
kill
they
you
find
once
out that we
already.
came back from the fog. They already know we're gone.
They already tried. So if we go back to Disk and they find out we're alive, they'll try to kill us again.
So we don't. I can't go back.
I'm saying we'll go back a little later once we've gathered more information, we understand more about what Minik was trying to do. Then we go back so we have a direction. It seems like the only safe place we have in the Sky Cities is Cloak.
Is what?
Cloak.
Oh, I'm not going there. That place is scary.
Well, it's either there or that we get killed by whoever hunted us down.
So we
They were
get
once-
killed
there were several
by the civilized people, or we get killed by pirates, or we get killed
I
by
mean-
carnivorous plants, or we get killed by bird people. I
If you
just
if
wanna
you
see
need
the
to lay
sky
low for a
from
few
tree.
weeks, I'm sure you could make a deal with my mother to help us with our were-rat problem.
just
Sorry, not
I'm
were-rats.
saying-
Rat folk.
Rat folk. Sorry.
Yeah.
Were-rats
all
are
I'm saying,
different.
Cascade,
they are.
is that we just need to think and take our time with our actions. I'm not trying to contain you. You're welcome to return sooner than I, but understand that if you go back and they find out that you've returned because the blue man at Genasi, that's uncommon in Disk, and you've been getting stares from both people here and up there, you would be easy to find, and they'd either extract your information or kill you pretty quick.
Okay,
Why
so
not
I can't
both?
fly in your flying city. Should I be a typist? Is that a good job?
Why not an adventurer?
I can't go outside, lady.
You were outside in the fog when you buried him.
Was I?
Wait,
It seems, yes, it seems like you've developed some sort of resistance at being exposed to it. Which is why I'm saying once we
That
get
means
some
all of it's
time to do some
bullshit.
research, it means that they've been trying to hide what's been happening for whatever reason. So if we get some
Feel like-
time, figure out how to build a resistance, we'd be able to go out and venture into the fog.
Glenn, what's your character's intelligence?
Oh man. It's not his intelligence, it's his retention. Oh,
I was gonna say, didn't you already learn that from the old lady?
okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's the exact same thing you said when you came back to Chuck and Auburn.
You're just gonna get a real mixed
And
bag
it's-
from him. He's gonna give you some really smart licks, and sometimes he won't talk for a day and a half, and then other times
There's a
he
lot.
will
There's
forget
also a
everything
lot
that's
of grief
happened in the
right
last 5
now.
minutes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. So we're gonna fight rats, right?
No, we're
Maybe
gonna be
you need to talk
hunting
to
down.
Mother.
Maybe, but we're gonna be hunting down Redbeak currently.
Oh,
That's our way of
pirate
repaying.
man.
I was
You say
agreed
when I
upon
said
repayment
pirate bird.
agreed upon repayment for them
Oh,
healing
right. I
us.
forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure why Mother wants you to die so
Was that?
We're not gonna die. I
What?
feel like this will give us an opportunity because, from what I gather, Redbeak is taking people and turning them, and so that might give us an opportunity to figure out whether he's doing something with fog or it's by magic. I feel like that's just going to take us deeper into the mystery of the fog. Either way, it advances whatever.
Why do you
Redbeak
want to
wanted us
figure out
do.
so much about the fog?
So, the whole thing about the Sky Cities existing is that 1,000 years ago, the fog came, everybody was going mad, killing each other, drove us underground, and then the dwarves and the gnomes built these
up.
large cities so that we could exist again and built up into the sky above the fog, and nothing exists down here. That's the
But you
gist of it.
said it
So,
was an elf.
Rhea, everything jives with what you know about history, except for the whole, like, everything's a barren wasteland down here. Like,
Right.
There's no sun.
other than that,
I mean, yes, but why would they lie to you about that? Is it the
That's what we're
dwarves
trying-
because they earn money for their buildings?
We have no idea. That's what we're trying to figure out, and I think that's what got Professor Minute killed because he learned something and he
Here's the
blabbed a little
thing.
bit too much.
We remove the fog, then they have nothing. Their falsehoods will be made bare, you know?
Exactly, which is why we need to move with some
Are they
Discretion.
warlike?
Tactfulness.
tactfulness. Not necessarily, but they do have resources should they need to.
If my people are revealed, will they be attacked?
How many people live on Disc, Dungeon Master?
I think it was 300,000 thereabouts.
There's less people in all of Disc than there are in your town. And if you said there's
That's just.
multiple places like this, then you guys have more people than we do.
But that remains to be seen what might happen. But before
You
we
can
were to
all fly. Advantages.
but we've got guns, and we've got airships.
Do you guys have guns?
What? No, I don't even know what that is.
It's a metal tube with a projectile inside, and
Oh
a
yes, we do,
propulsion
and I'm gonna
exists
pull
on
out
the
like a
opposite side of it, and it shoots
a
down.
dart gun.
Like a
Yes,
blow
like
dart,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yes, like this. Yes.
Imagine
It's a children's toy. They use it to hunt before their talons come in for their
Have you seen-
adolescent talons.
Have you seen the movie?
Ooh, have you
Yes, would you
seen
like to go to
when
the
a
theater
body
next?
decomposes over time, and then it gets real big, and then sometimes it goes and pops because it
An
decays.
explosion.
Yes. So that behind a projectile in a tube, forcing it forward, so you don't have to use your breath. It's something else, an external force.
Or is it magic?
No.
No.
It uses gunpowder. Gunpowder
Yeah.
propels a little projectile at high speed, penetrates, causing a lot of damage.
It's a powder that when you put fire in it, it explodes.
Well, it just seems unnecessary.
You don't have to use your own breath. Think about being able to
a
aim
lot
a
of what
weapon
humans,
not
a
connected
lot
to
of
your
what humans
face.
do seems unnecessary.
But why not just use magic then?
Something
Magic
they do.
was severely limited in public, depending on what you were doing, who you were. So, given that it was restricted and controlled, people kind of came up with alternative methods.
It's
And,
canon now that guns came into popularity because magic isn't allowed to be used.
Yeah,
Nice.
like magic in the city here. While while it is supposed to be used responsibly, it's not like limited in that way.
Yeah. So like you would have seen in the library, the light spell.
Yeah,
Very
People trying
fair.
to read a little bit better.
Not fair.
Yeah.
floating books, things like that.
Nothing excessive, but definitely more than you would have seen in this.
That's why a lot of my spells are either thunder damage or psychic damage. They leave traces as much, except for like auditory traces.
You know what
But,
I use? Emotional damage.
General damage.
But
Fucking love that.
our first goal is to bring Redbeak to justice. In the process, hoping that we learn something about the fog and what he's doing.
How are we gonna
and
learn
then
something
beyond
about
that,
the fog while we're doing it?
well, from what the
We
Major
bring your
described,
testing
it seems like
equipment?
he's. Well, no. From what Major described, it seems like he's doing something to grow his numbers, either magic or some sort of persuasion, or something maybe related to the fog. I'm not saying it's definitely related to the fog. I'm just saying there's a chance.
So you're saying
But
there's
if
a
we can-
chance?
There's a chance. If we can get in, figure out what he's doing, bring him to justice, deal with all of that, and then stay here for a little bit unless something pops up. But do some research and figure out what our bearings are before we head back up.
Wait, are there elves
and-
down here?
Not often, but there have
Like
been.
not
Not
as
often.
a society. There's
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there's.
Individual-
I've only been maybe to one or two other cities other than mine. I wouldn't know much about the worldly exploration of elves, but
You
every
don't.
once
You
in a
don't.
while.
You don't. Yeah, you don't hear about elves up here. Or
Like I
down
said,
here,
the
I guess.
last one was. Oh. It would have been when my mother was a child.
okay. Let's cross check. Dwarves. You say
No,
you've
one
not
fell-
often.
One fell down from up there.
Oh, easier question then, I guess, based on the responses so far. What other races other than Aarakocra or Aarakocra live down here in the fog?
Well, there's the rat people.
There are
That's about it.
also.
Grung.
There. Huh?
Grung?
No, I was like grung. Imagine.
Please.
Yeah, there are grung. There are, but they are, like tribal, so they're not like
Sure.
it's not like a big
So-
influential
It's not
society.
because of the fog,
Um,
it's because they're
yeah.
tribal. Okay.
Yeah,
Some of our
that's who they are as beings.
some of our
there-
sorcerers have draconic heritage, so there might be dragons.
There are tieflings, Goliaths, orcs, Alfolk, Aarakocra,
The last one cut
Ratfall,
out.
Okay.
and
Oh.
Ratfolk.
And none of those races are above.
No.
The fuck is happening?
Sorry. This is maybe player knowledge, so I want to ask this to you, Mystic. The term Lightborn, is that something that the people know up in the Sky Cities?
Yeah.
What was that referring to specifically? I feel like that was referring to the elves.
Elves and humans specifically. Not gnomes, not dwarves.
Okay.
And technically, it's also referring to Dragonborn and Tabaxi.
Okay.
But they're Dragonborn. They're like, we're Dragonborn. Don't call us anything else.
Sure.
And
Like why they're
it is kind of a derogatory term used by dwarves and gnomes against those races.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Just the split of races has got Auburn thinking. a little.
I feel like I don't have a horse in this race.
Technically, because you are from Elven society, you would be considered Lightborn.
Yeah, probably.
Very interesting.
And it's in Fleur Nouveau, it's not like super common to hear that term because you're all like it's 90% elves there, and then
it's kind of like a Victorian style, kind of like. Did we talk about how it'd be kind of like Rivendell? Is that it's kind of that?
Yeah,
it's very
like
fancy, very glorious, elven. Okay, cool.
in the Fertile Terrace, like you hear that term every once in a while. Like there's a lot of dwarves that help with the human with their kind of production of food and all that kind of stuff. And then you don't know about Cloak, and in the Great Spire, it's almost exclusively Dragonborn there. Like 99.9% of the people that live there are Dragonborn. They are very insular, and they don't communicate often with the other Sky Cities. They basically, from history that the Great Spire, the Dragonborn basically demanded that they get a Sky City, and they were because they're so magically powerful historically, they metaphorically held the dwarves at gunpoint in the nobility, and they were like, either you do this or we are going to fuck over all of your shit down here in the Underdark, and that's it. Like, you're gonna have a really bad time. So they got their own city.
Make good choices.
Yeah, make good choices. That's basically what it was. While the MGA is incredibly wealthy and, has dealings in each of the spires, except for Cloak, the Great Spire is, even the members of the MGA are mostly Dragonborn. And
What's MGA stand for again?
Shit. This is my stuff.
Grandma.
They're the governing
Eloise.
body, though.
MGA. My
Let me
grandma
see.
Eloise.
No, it's the Magnanimous Guild
Of what?
of Architects.
Oh, and you managed to use the word magnanimous?
Yeah.
In the group name? These fuckers
Yeah.
are pious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Their name is magnanimous. God damn.
I mean, they built these cities. They
Yeah,
built
they're the
these
ones responsible
cities.
for the cities.
Yeah.
On rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I probably would have explained all of this too, as well, to Rhea, as we're
Sure.
walking. Shared all this information, and like emphasizing that the fog is bad. No go down there. We go only out fog to do maintenance. Nothing exists down here.
With as few words as possible. Use many words when few words you can.
My mechanic knows what I say when me car no go. We best friends.
So Rhea, you can understand why we're a little surprised and maybe taken aback by the fact that there's buildings and food and people and
There's a history.
fledglings. There's a
Yes.
big pot of our history as a world that we've lost access to.
It's okay, it was all a lie.
Sounds like you need to spread the truth then.
Not just yet. I feel like that's going to cause more harm than good at this point. Because we can't take you back with us either. For example, not that we were planning to, but if we would take you back, all they know of you is a threat. The security teams have been dealing with these vulture-like Eric Cochran.
Look like a
And-
vulture.
Aye, a vulture from the
You are a
red.
person. That's as far as they'll see.
Exactly. Sometimes humanoids can be very reductive.
I wouldn't want to go anyway. Sounds barbaric.
I don't. Don't ever get me in
You
a
have
fight.
guns. Psh. Can't
That's
use
kind of
magic.
awesome.
Not
There's
that
a
I'd
big
want
tree
to.
on one of them.
But on a big tree on a gun.
No, on one of the platforms.
Oh,
That's
going to say how big are
called
these
the
guns?
first
I was
tree.
imagining, and she's gonna furl out her wings. You know,
Oh,
probably
and
smaller
I'm
than that.
actually. I'm just gonna pull out a gun. I'm gonna pull out Chuck's gun. That's. It's
just
little-
gonna
it's
pull
little-
out a fucking gun.
yeah. You just pull the mechanism.
They nobody
back and
around has.
cock it and goes, and you see pull it, and it hits that, and it ignites it, pushes it out.
I'm so
He's describing it. He's not firing a gun. Okay, cool. I don't know what that
I'm
expression was.
dry
Yeah,
fire.
we're walking through apartment complexes right now. You just pull out a fucking gun.
Nobody knows what it is.
Right.
They don't know what a they don't know what a gun is.
True.
He modified it a little bit. You could see that he made it so that a part of it could be used to hit physically.
Oh, how novel!
Quite-
He was so smart.
You shouldn't
But,
speak ill of the dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I'm
really
being
shouldn't speak ill
facetious.
of the dead.
It's for him. He thinks it's funny.
But yeah,
And Ray, you stop in a so there's a long section of streets, or kind of like skyways that are all kind of like parallel to each other and in different levels. And there's a long like thoroughfare of buildings that stretch up from the fog, and you could see like shadows through the fog at the bottom. You would assume would be rat folk wandering around, doing whatever they might be doing. And you say this is this in ancient times used to be called the High Road, but this is the main thoroughfare of the city. And it's just, you see for probably about... Huh? It is
actually
very high.
Okay.
And yeah, you can see kind of like this long, almost like I said before, just like a lattice work of different people flying in and out, and some people are outside in the fog just saying it just seems to be a buzz with people all over the place. So just wanted to give you an idea of what it looked like.
Sweet.
Yes. This is where you'll find most of the activity. If you need something to purchase, you can usually find shops along this corridor. There's a tavern. Just as we're walking, just pointing things out.
Mm-hmm.
Drink.
The Roost, this tavern right here, serves mostly meads and wines. But we
like
also
a good
do
mead.
have ale.
ale's good too.
I think you like anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't complain too much. Alcohol is alcohol.
So where would you guys like to go?
Um,
Okay,
I'd
that's
like
my
to go
line.
back and see your mother, or
I'd like to see
sorry,
your mother
Major.
too.
I mean, she's. Um, I mean, you're welcome to come by and I cook up a good
Saw your
meal for
mother
you.
last night. What?
Oh,
You
is
just
she
joined
well?
a
I haven't seen her for a
Magdalene?
little
Like,
bit.
what the fuck is happening?
Um. Yes, I'd like to. I'd like to go back to mine. Just get more information on our next duty because I feel like we'd have some time to explore, and that time's not now.
Yes, and it is getting late, so we should get you quartered soon.
Absolutely.
Boarded?
Quartered. Like
I-
sleeping
Accommodation.
quarters.
Oh, oh. I was like,
Not
please don't
like-
cut me into pieces.
Unless you prefer that.
No, nope. I like my body in the same piece.
Passing down back towards I mean for you guys it's like a labyrinth. There are like little signs here and there that have different names written in avian, but for the most part it's it's all grid like, right? There's north, south, east, west, and Rhea goes and shows you. But for the most part, it's just very kind of disorienting. Even though each hall looks different, has a different feel, and you're seeing the faces, different colors, and things like that. This idea that this is in any way navigable to people terrestrially bound that's not a thing. So.
Laughable, yeah.
Yeah. As you walk back towards the kind of main area where you were brought from, go ahead and roll perception checks.
Perception
11.
11.
27.
Cascade, from the mist, you see just some huge thing, and as you, it's probably about eye level to you, and you're several hundred feet tall, feet
Got
up.
it.
And kind of like this lattice work is surrounding it on many tiers. There's more of these hallways surrounding this very large statue than you would normally see in other parts of the city.
What's that?
Rhea, it is a large statue of a winged humanoid, not an Aarakocra.
That is.
You make up a name for it if you want.
Oh, okay. Is it male or female?
It is a man.
All right. That is Kerr.
Steve?
Hmm?
It's a sports joke about real world. I apologize.
Oh, I don't know what these sports are.
Yeah, it's a winged statue that has the head of a hawk. It looks like, and like kind of the body of a man.
Like Ra.
Kind of, yeah.
Ra.
That's bloody big.
Yes. It's been here since time immemorial.
Alright.
This
Time
is-
Memorial.
This is the city center, the very center of the entire city.
Oh, like the act, like geographically,
is
this
like-
is the center.
Right. Yes.
Can you land on it up at the top?
It would be frowned upon.
Why?
Yeah, people live inside. You'd be landing on their homes.
Oh, people live off.
Oh, it's a statue, but it's also a house?
Yeah, there are several like small, like it's huge. It's enormous.
I was thinking of like that Jesus statue in Sao
Yeah.
Sao Paulo.
Apollo, yeah.
Yeah.
But I see it.
You inform them that there are several statues throughout the city that are that size, and they're used similarly.
Oh, I thought it was like the only one. Sorry if I made it the city center. But...
No, it's okay. It is
Yeah,
very
they're
close to the
different
center of the
shapes.
city.
Like each one of
Yes.
them, I'm guessing, has like a different face.
Yes.
But the body.
Do I know?
Do you know what?
Like, do I know who they are? Like, or what they are? I guess.
You know, actually, roll a history check.
I was gonna say, 'cause I can make up some stuff. Like, not make up,
Oh
but
yeah.
18.
18. You know that in ancient times, people used to call them the defenders. I guess hundreds of years ago, defenders of the city for some reason.
Okay. I was gonna say, I've heard, stories of who these people are, but nobody seems to know exactly who or what they are.
Are there like
You know,
any
some
slightly
people have said
indented
they're-
lines?
Huh?
Yeah. Are there anything on them, like any markings that people have seen,
I mean, I'm sure, but
like swirls?
I've never looked that closely. It's rather large. I've never thought to scour the entire thing to look for swirls.
Can I do that?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
I would love to use one of my wild shapes to become a small lizard and crawl around on it, get in the nooks and crannies.
Sure. I'll say you become like a little flying lizard. So you don't really have a fly speed, but you could glide.
Glide,
So you
yeah.
glide over to it, and it's like
I snap at them.
it's almost like 100 feet away, but like or maybe like 50 feet away from like where you're at. And yeah, you land on there, and it's enormous, and
I think I'll stay on the side of the statue that they're on, just like checking out the statue where they're walking, basically. Staying close by so I can still hear her talking, but I'm just going to be closer to it, is all.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about the stories that, children's stories about them. You know, how when you are in school and you see something weird, how everybody makes up a different story, but none of it's true entirely. So, some people called them gods, some people called them just vain rich people who founded the city. And then, the Defender's story pops up. Some people say that,
yeah, there's
nobody.
You know of a few of them. There's one that's in the shape of kind of like a fish person that's near the sea, and it's kind of crumbling because the sea has overtaken a portion of that in the time. There's one that seems to be some sort of warrior knightly figure. There's one that's drinking mead as well. At least you assume it's mead.
Some people say that they fell from the skies and the statues landed here, and that's why they founded the city.
That seems
Nobody
illogical.
really knows exactly what happened.
So there's a city on each statue?
There's houses.
Yeah, people live inside many of them. Some of them can't be entered, it seems.
We just haven't found the way, I think.
Yeah.
Is your friend almost done? I had to stop myself from eating him.
Are you coming back there, Glenn? Or Cascade? From the statue?
Oh, Yeah, I mean, if they start to move away from it, I'll fly and then land on... probably on Auburn's shoulder.
Sure.
I am little flying squirrel. Can I be a flying squirrel instead of a lizard?
Sure.
Cool.
It's fine.
And I chitter at you a little bit when I land on him. I chitter at her a little bit when I land on him.
Okay. But yeah, you eventually make your way to the same like grouping of large towers, and your area, the medical kind of wing, where Amelia still lies, and John, let's say, lies as well.
You right there, John.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay. ...
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Yeah. Until I fell off my fucking home city.
Feel like I'm thrown
Fell
from
off
the
a
roof.
damn mountain.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so
Um,
where we gotta find this red beak guy? Once we get inside, I'm starting to understand context a little bit. Don't talk about the scary pirate Aarakocra in public. Yay!
But Brianna comes in. A short time after.
Bless you.
Sorry you arrived. And he said, we'll be holding your friends here just for medical reasons. I'd like to question them once they are fully recovered. But we can what, Glenn?
Don't let him go into the fog. I turned into a bear.
Yes, we have something for that. Don't worry. And she says, if you'd like, I could take you to your accommodations. It's nothing very fancy, but it is serviceable. You'll have your own little footlocker and beds and closet for your clothing if you need extra. But
It's all good. I appreciate that.
and she brings you in, and you see it's very, kind of industrial in its minimalism, and she kind of just shows you around, just shows you some of the amenities. They have water basins and things like that are magically enchanted to refill, and they often just throw water out of the windows, because nobody goes out onto the street anyway. So, but yeah, this is where you are. Do you have any more questions? Did you enjoy your walk? Were you able to bury?
Yeah, we did what we were able to. I assume then you'd brief us in some way before we left or departed. What information we needed, or
Yes. We don't have very good information on Beak is, which is what you are going to be a part of what's going on, because I
Sure.
believe you might know where to look, perhaps. You know more about the Sky Cities than we do,
Sure.
by a wide margin. I don't know where it might be on the in the vicinity, but it seems like you might know. But before that, we're going to arrange a meeting with an emissary from the Owlfolk in order to kind of show you to them, as it were, and hopefully you will be accepted as the people that can get this deed done. Now, the one thing I will tell you now is that Redbeak certainly has a few people under his wing, as it were. He has abducted several and turned several of his people, or of our people. No owl folk, though, which I find interesting. So, being the way of it, you're definitely not just going to find him alone. So, prepare yourselves for that once the time comes.
You know, I just feel like we're gonna stand out like sore thumbs.
That's a good thing, I think.
It'll make it easier for us to find him because he might come find us.
But gathering information in an incognito way is basically not.
Well,
an
there's
option.
no reason to be incognito here. It's mostly if we were to go back to Disc.
And if anything, your difference in look will intrigue people around and might open them up to share more information. As
Right here.
yes, she is. She's
Oh, no.
definitely. Oh,
He's
yes.
red. He's pink. He's weird. Everybody point and laugh. Ha ha.
She kind of like chuckles a little bit, kind of gives you an odd look, but everyone on both sides of this conflict understands that there is only our two species at war, as it were. So the knowing who you are, that you're on our side, but not necessarily spies, be invited to ask questions of Alfolk. It is not an issue. So,
Alright.
Can I be mute if we're making characters?
if you like to,
I just feel like I reveal too much, so maybe Auburn takes the lead and I'm like your mute druid.
Well, we haven't given you any critical information. I'm not going. They know what this city is like. You know, it's only been 3 years that it's been under conflict.
And
So,
I,
and I'm-
as much as we might talk about Cascade, I trust you regardless. I'm not really worried.
you're attempting to achieve a mutual goal of both sides, and trying to help bring about peace. I'm not going to give you locations of or numbers of troops that we might have.
Aha!
Information
so you
on-
do have them.
That is true, yes.
We're essentially being brought in as a middleman
Listen,
of
owl
sorts,
people,
and
they
Right.
have troops. Watch out.
I would be careful. I think that might be a threat.
What? Sarcasm is threatening?
Telling somebody that you have troops is a mild form of a threat. That's
we
like
don't
saying-
have
War
troops.
situation.
They have troops. I
Not
don't have
that-
troops.
Well, that'd be
Yeah.
like, let's say I'm talking to you right now, and I said, I have a gun.
That's
How would you insinuate that?
How did you build it?
That's
I don't think you fully understand what a gun is yet either, to take that wholeheartedly.
but is it not that it's a threat? Yes.
I'd
Can
punch you quicker than you could pull
A
the gun
hand
to
is
shoot
a
at me.
threat. Cast spells. A branch of
Right,
burnt wood is a threat because lightning
the
bolt.
the major
Right, but
clears
when you're
her
trying to
throat.
be-
And,
Tactfully-
Do you point us in a direction after the meeting, and we'll do what we do.
Cool.
Point isn't.
Do you the point us in the direction? Is it not?
It's in it.
just in any direction. Anyways, do you have wizards in your employ?
Yes.
I'd like to maybe sometime tomorrow see if there's a spell or two I could learn.
Are you wishing to have a scroll, or
Something like that.
do
Just
you have the
recent
components to
events.
create such a thing? I can't spare much in the way of coin or...
There's a recent events have inspired me to prepare a spell that would allow us to fall gently.
Oh. We know
You
that
want
one.
to grow wings?
No, it's a spell called
I
Featherfall.
already
I just
asked
don't
you how to
know it.
do that. You tell me, bird lady.
There's
How to
just
grow
a bunch of
wings.
What's your
bad
name?
people.
I'm sorry.
Cascade. Rio.
Ria.
Bria?
Ria.
Rio.
A Bria.
With an R. Ria.
Real. I
Close
just
enough.
missing out. Ria.
We have a new Magdor, everyone.
Like Leo
Yeah.
with an R.
Right.
Yeah.
What's a Lia?
Is he
I was
going to be
named
after my
okay?
great-grandmother.
She
Probably
Brianna
it's-
leans over to
It's a
Hobrin.
human name.
It's been.
Yes,
it's been
I am
2
Ria.
losses in a short amount of time, so it's a little bit of grief to work.
And
Okay,
she is
Cash?
Bria.
You have cats?
Oh, it's a cat.
Commander
Cat.
Kitten. You're supposed
Yes,
to stay back.
they're kept for food.
This one is my pet. I kept this one. But she did have a delicious litter. What?
What
Is
is
it- do
into
you
the
not
culture?
Eat felines down in Disc.
I only eat plants and fruits and water.
Oh. Oh, I
You
love...
can't eat water.
You can if it's icy
True.
or
But-
snowy.
Just thinking of all the birds that like ice water.
Do you... Okay, listen. Do air cockroaches
ducks
migrate?
Do your Aarakocras what?
Migrate?
Migratory. Sorry.
I just think like I've never had icy water. It doesn't get that cold.
We actually keep cats.
Actually, it does
felines.
get very cold, and
that's what I'm saying. If we migrated, we
Oh.
leave before
Oh,
it gets
right.
icy.
We keep felines of this size typically as pets. House cats.
Yes, just in
reduce
case your food stores run out.
interesting. Yes, I mean some go stray, and then they walk around and cat, do something.
It's typically frowned upon to consume the meat of a feline of this size
Why?
because it's a weird humanoid thing where we adore these creatures and then we assign more value to different animals. So some are okay to be eaten, but some are
Based
not.
on preference, usually. It's all
Strange.
very subjective.
Yes, we just all sentient beings to us are of equal value, but
Sure.
it's one of the reasons why we work so hard to save you. But when it comes to
Appreciate it.
non-sentient creatures or not fully sentient creatures, they're here for our leisure. We need to survive.
I suppose. Interesting approach.
Hmm.
But
We will arrange the
Um,
meeting. I'm sure we will
yes.
be able to do so probably late tomorrow. We'll
With who?
likely be meeting with the Alpha
folk.
delegation, the emissaries of the Alpha.
Oh.
We'll be passing into the kind of agreed upon neutral zone. Sorry, I think of Star Trek whenever I think of neutral. And we will be sure to introduce you, explain the situation, and we will likely send you on your way. You could that night and start out that next morning. Does that sound agreeable?
Indeed.
May I attend?
Agreeable, I never barely knowable.
Not only will you be attending, you will be going with them.
I mean, that's
Surprise.
attending, right? All right.
Oh, no, I mean, you will be going on the mission with them.
Like, the whole way.
Yes,
Are you sure about
At your
that?
command, Staff Sergeant.
I am positive. And, Brianna takes you aside, and, like, you could hear her, but it's, very, it's kind of just like a little quiet aside.
I hear it, but I choose not to hear it.
Right.
You don't even understand Eric Cochran anyway.
Oh yeah, they are speaking in avian. So she speaks to you in avian. It's going to be fine. You have two, topsiders that seem to be well equipped and well able to take care of themselves, as well as your own skills, which I have a lot of faith in. You need to
Yes,
start
but you know
having
what
faith in
happened
your own.
last time.
The fact that Jacob,
Can't
was
control
taken.
it.
it's not your fault. Okay? It is not your fault. He was a good friend of the family, and you'll get him back. It's only been a few days. And the fact that you
disappeared.
can't... He disappeared because he was taken by the people. Is that not the story? Or
I don't
are you
know, I'm
leaving
just-
something out?
No, I was saying.
No,
that-
she
No.
understands it that he disappeared because he was taken by Redbeak.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. I was saying that a spell went awry and he
And
got
and maybe it
transported
did.
to a plane.
And maybe he did. You'll find him.
I hope so. But I can tell you that I hope we don't run into any issues because I won't risk it again.
You just need to have
Especially
faith.
not with some strangers.
Well, what are they apart from anybody else, right?
They don't even eat cat. They
I
they
know it's
love
odd.
them.
I'm blue. But
Yeah, sorry, one man, one genie, I think he called himself.
well, let's
Met a
hope
genie?
that everything goes all right. I'm sure you'll be able to find them.
Hey,
What?
you met a genie?
Yes, they're
you-
talking in avian.
You mean Auron, which I can understand?
They're talking in avian.
Oh, they're talking in Aarakocra. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I sit there and
But,
I'm eating...
Yes. Fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Why is he
Um,
eating? Why is he eating our potted leaves?
Oh, I pulled this
I
in
don't
a
know.
bag.
Oh, okay. Just imagine you just walk in and see a nice potted plant, like, ooh, dinner.
Well, yeah. Like in the corner, there's they're sitting there in a pot, and I was saying in the corner there's just some iceberg lettuce in a pot, and it's like just a potted plant for these two, but you're like, oh, iceberg. But yeah, she kind of says you'll be okay. Just
I'm not worried about me.
well, what are you worried about then?
You've seen the things that can happen when I try to cast my spells. I blew up one of our buildings one time. Yeah, Nick knows now.
Oh no!
I just think it's a fluke, and the thing about it is that you're so powerful. You need more training, and what better way to train than by going and taking on some people snatchers. You could bring peace to this entire conflict.
Fine, Mother, but if they die, it's on you.
I'm just more worried about you. Just take care of yourself. Do they seem capable? In
Yes.
your eye?
One can turn into a bear, and the other one grappled him with no effort involved, it seemed.
Pretty powerful.
Yes.
Hopefully they fight as well. As
They have a gun. Have you heard of them?
No.
Like magic, but technology.
Maybe we'll have to find out more about this. Keep notes.
Yes.
And she says, "You'll be all right." And she kind of pats you on your cheek, and she turns back to the gentleman there and says,
That took
"All
a
right.
while. You guys,
Yes,
do we need to know anything that you just talked about?
I'm just giving my daughter some words of
mother-daughter thing.
Oh,
encouragement."
I didn't know you guys were related. That's cool.
Rhea called her mother when she first came
Like
in.
the first second I came in,
Oh,
and I got
missed that,
reprimanded for it.
100%.
You're like lighting up a doob as you're saying this.
Wait,
I just
wait, 1 second. Okay, I'm good.
Nice.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
Who's
you
missing? Oh wait, I can't understand that. I couldn't understand that. I'm dumb.
but as their conversation draws to an end, Rhea leaves you for the night. I suppose we could end it there and go wait for next week when we will meet the owl delegation and perhaps hunt a bloodthirsty killer who has brought two factions to war.
As we we're winding down or whatever, I'm gonna show you something. Hey Cascade, look at this. And I'm gonna pull out my book and I'm gonna touch it, and then I'm gonna manifest the awakened spellbook into a little person.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So essentially, like, think of Master Chief holding Cortana, but I'm gonna pull it out of my spellbook, and so there's like a little lady standing on my hand, dressed in
Does she,
like
like, walk
scholarly
around with your book and stuff?
robes. She can, yeah, she can. She's free. Like she just walks over. She's like looking around.
I watch her like a dog watching a fly.
And it looks. And Auburn will never admit to this. He will never see the resemblance. But it looks like Amelia. And you could bring it up, and he would be like, "I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
That
It's
looks
just
like
fucking
Amelia.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Come here, real fast.
It's just a lady.
I
It's
just want to talk to you about this. You know, it's just the most honest, like, 5-day friend to 5-day friend way possible. Let's go over and see her real quick, and then you show her that and tell me it doesn't look like Amelia.
She's asleep. I'd rather not disturb
Walk
her
up
right
to
now.
her and stare
And then
there
you hear a
look
knock at the
both of
door.
them.
I'm going to sleep. Good night.
Okay.
Los Amelia. Yeah. So after that session was weird.
Oh my
But it's-
god.
I did not expect Chuck to die. So that was a little yeah.
I rolled to the dice, man.
But yeah, you guys find yourself in a crazy new place, enveloped by the fog, which until recently you feared. beyond anything,
I ain't afraid of no
You know.
ghosts.
or at least you were taught to fear. And that's where we end up. You've made a new companion in Rhea.
We're gonna go see Redbeard.
Redbeard,
Feather?
yes. Redbeak.
Redbeak? There we go.
Yeah. He's called that because he
Blood?
eats the owl folk that he kills.
Yeah, that's gross.
So yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
So is this the time where we give everyone a chance to
Yeah.
do their own shouts?
Yeah. Let's start with Mr. Glenimus. Shout yourself out.
Oh, I'm a voice actor. You want me to voice act in your shit? I'll do it. I love it. Also, I can paint your miniatures. My shout out. Done.
There you go. Mr. Brandon.
I don't do shit anymore. You can find me here, and then Monday and Tuesday sometimes we play Divinity Original Sin on my channel, which is Backdoor.
Mr. LR.
The only thing I do at this moment is I have a podcast called, I was going to say another one, Cultural Lenses. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, whatever. That's about me.
And I am now Witless Mystic on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. I actually have the same name everywhere now. It's pretty dope. And I hope everybody enjoyed our campaign today. The action's going to start ramping up pretty soon here, everybody. So don't worry. There will still be plenty of intrigue, but we're also going to kill some shit. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
And thank you, Glenn. Tell us our sponsors.
Oh, Sirenscape. Well, they're not actually sponsors, but we
Yeah,
do
they're-
utilize their sound stuff. Sirenscape, SYRINSCAPE. Sirenscape, like siren, like the creature of the sea. If you can create your own custom sounds, it's pretty great. Also, we do utilize D&D Beyond in the overlay, so you can see all of our characters' hit points and status effects and stuff like that.
Their opening theme.
And, oh yes, and Revelries, who so kindly, through a connection with our good buddy LR over here, made us a kind of like retro synth classic remix of kind of like a D&D sort of thing that I can't get to play right now, and actually completely spaced on playing on the way in. So we are going to play it on the way out. So if you want to, once we go away, I'm going to play it immediately. Check it out. They're Revelries, REVELRIES. On, I think, any music platform for the most part, right, LR? Cool.
Yay. Good night, everyone. And
What a day.
we'll see you next time on another one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.